gonna do a watch along here. I don't know. I'm gonna try this. Do a sort of audio commentary track over this was last night in Easy Paradise KGB Open Mic Monday, and Natalie, shout out to Natalie, she gave me the idea for this, where she said after the open mic they always do a debriefing the next day, where they watch the YouTube video. So I thought that was kind of a fun idea, and maybe I'd kind of do an audio commentary track. And so, yeah, this is the Hank Kingsley monologue you can't hear right now. And I'm probably not going to talk that much about this because I do have other things I want to talk about, I suppose. This is just sort of a launching pad and sort of a continuity visual and a thing to spring off of. So, of course, the Hank Kingsley. I don't know. With the theme music, I sort of go back and forth because I do like being identified. Larry Sanders Show is my favorite show, really ever, probably. And so having Hank as a part of the Monday night is like kind of a hilarious thing. Even though it's all about L.A., the whole fucking opening monologue is about like L.A. and shit. And so one thing I've been working on, right, is when you watch these videos, I am kind of pronouncedly louder. I'm into vocal distortion. I mean, I'm just into distortion of all kinds. That's like a 60s guitar thing, I guess. But, like, I'm into distortion and pushing things into the red. And I do have some kind of weird, I don't know why I have to put my mouth on the fucking microphone. I don't know why. Okay, so here's part of the video aspect of this is in the room I have to push out a lot of energy, right? Because it's a live performance and there's all these bodies. So I'm just responding to that. I am trying to put out a lot of energy because that is kind of what fuels the enthusiasm of the thing or whatever, or can help, you know. And so I go a little over the top, I guess, and I yell. I'm kind of known for my yelling. I don't know, some of my performers were yelling. I'm sorry, I have like a tooth problem. It doesn't hurt that bad, but I'm just so worried about it. I feel like I've let it go too far. It doesn't really hurt that much, but now I'm feeling, I don't know, like some kind of weird numbness or like ringing, or it's spreading. So I'm gonna go tomorrow to this health clinic thing and try to get set up with insurance. That's where I got enrolled in Medicaid before. So I'm gonna try to go tomorrow and just sign up for my Medicaid and then just figure it out from there. I'm gonna try to see a dentist as soon as inhumanly possible. I've let this thing go way too long. I've just kind of been busy, and I don't know, you like riding the edge. I'm wondering, am I some kind of masochist? Like, why do I have, maybe it is like an oral fixation thing. Like, I do feel like I'm constantly moving my mouth. I need to talk, I need to smoke, and so my tongue is constantly moving. And so I cannot leave my teeth alone. I'm constantly, putting my tongue in my teeth, and I'll get a little bit of a cavity, and I just become obsessed with it. And it is kind of sexual, I feel. It's kind of erotic, like, not to get too graphic or anything, but the other day I was, I found myself I don't feel like I'm a masochist, but it's weird to me how pain is tied to the pleasure principle and how people are turned on by pain in a weird way. I don't identify with this, but maybe I'm in denial or something. My life is painful. I don't know. It feels like some kind of like leftover from religious upbringing. Catholicism is all about pain and poverty and self-denial and sin and humility, being humble before God, and all these kind of things, and among other things. And it's also a poetry thing. It's a New York School thing specifically. I don't know where I read it, but I think it was in in Eileen Myers' piece where it talked about there are references. Joel Oppenheimer had bad teeth. They said it was like, you're a poet when you have bad teeth. But there's also a lot of references to taking care of your teeth. Ted Berrigan has references to having bad teeth. That's not why I have bad teeth. I have bad teeth because the fucking insurance, situation in this country is absolutely insane. And I'm well beyond having my parents' insurance, and I live on the edge. I'm not fully employed anywhere. I could not get insurance through an employer. I should have signed up for Medicaid, but to be honest, I just don't trust doctors. Generally speaking, I really don't have a problem with going to the dentist. I've been to the dentist. I've experienced the pain many times where they stab you with the fucking syringe and shit. It sucks. But it's just a part of life, and it is what it is. Your mouth is just such a tender place. There's so many nerves in there. There's so much feeling in there. There's so much softness, and the bicuspids, and the taste buds, and the flavor. I mean, the flavor crystals. And oh my God, I'm such an orally fixated person, and I just can't leave well enough alone with my teeth, I guess. And so I'm in this disaster where I'm a real poet, unlike these phonies with health insurance. These phonies in the MFA programs. I'd like to see them live 1 week in my life with all these broken teeth. I mean, my teeth look like, my mouth is a bad neighborhood. My teeth look like the Coliseum. I have entire molars that are missing. And then my other tooth looks literally like the Roman Coliseum. And now I've got new cavities. Both of my rear molars now have cavities. And I have a wisdom tooth growing in. So it's a perfect storm of being totally fucked. And I just want to do the minimum. I was thinking someday I would get rich and then I would actually be able to fix my teeth. Because it would probably be really expensive for me to do all the work that needs to get done. I'm hoping that I can get back on Medicaid. I'm pretty sure I can, although we'll see. And, oh God, and it'll just be taken care of. Because I don't have a problem going and doing it, really. Last time I went to the dentist, I went to this clinic in, like, a hospital, in the Brooklyn, like, Army Pier, or whatever the fuck that is, like, down on, like, 50th Street or 70th Street or something. And it was $50, I think, and they fixed me right up. I mean, it was a school. It was kind of like getting a barber school haircut, but the guy, honestly, he was like he was a young guy. He was in his 20s, early 20s, and he was honestly the best dentist I ever had, because he still had, what do they call, doctor's bedside manner. He was a pretty nice guy. He was affable with me. That's the thing I don't really like about dentists, is most of them are humorless and they kind of like judge you. It's just like, it's kind of an agoraphobia. I just don't want to be around somebody that's going to judge me for, I don't make bad decisions. I brush my teeth. Anybody who knows me knows that I brush my teeth like constantly. I'm constantly using mouthwash. I probably have the best dental hygiene, other than I don't go to the dentist. Because I can't, because I'm partially employed and I live on the edge, baby. I don't know. All my heroes had bad teeth. Apparently British people have bad teeth. French people have bad teeth. I think people have had bad teeth. Okay, so here was one thing I looked into. People have bad teeth forever. I think it's I don't know. Our body's kind of, dental care, shit like that's relatively new. Novocaine and things. How did people live with it? I don't know. So I was having a conversation with a friend the other day, and I said, what did they do before about wisdom teeth? They weren't pulling them, surely, for thousands of years. Were cavemen pulling their fucking wisdom teeth? Like, this is a relatively recent thing that we do. And my friend goes, no, they pulled them. They pulled their teeth. And I thought, oh, fuck, I guess I'm just an idiot. I would have assumed that, I don't know, it's nature, it's just like you got teeth, like, I don't know, it seems really a lot of effort to, like, and so I Googled it, to see, what the truth was. I said, what did they used to do? And it said, actually, it wisdom teeth growing in is a product of the Industrial Revolution and industrialization because we started to eat processed foods. Apparently wisdom teeth would not typically express themselves and grow in until industrialization kind of changed the way that we eat, and they added preservatives to the foods and shit like that. And that's what I feel with my situation. Is I thought it was like a hormonal change, because I have all these weird autoimmune problems and stuff that are very tied to food. And to be honest, for the last year, I've kind of just like let my diet go out the window because I'm literally just trying to flap my wings and keep flying here in New York with as little, having to get a real job and an adult life as possible. I'm not opposed to that. I'm just bad at that stuff. I'm bad at seeking employment. I'm bad at getting paid what I'm worth. I'm bad at asking for things. And I just avoid doctors, generally speaking. And so, I've let my diet go completely over the past year. I eat pizza. I had a piece of pizza last night after the open mic. I eat a lot of stuff I would not eat before. I typically don't do any sauces. I started eating a sauce recently, and that's what fucked my teeth up. I've been eating this fucking... Because there's nothing to eat out here. It's a food desert. I'm not like a Whole Foods snob. Like, I don't need organic or anything, but I do have to kind of steer between the navigational buoys in a very careful way. And so, this guy sounded great. And so I've let that all go over the last year. I've just been eating wheat constantly, eating sandwiches from the deli. Yesterday we went to Katz's Deli. We had a big pastrami and the big orgasm scene of when Harry met Sally. And it was good. I mean, it melted in your mouth. It was fatty and buttery and nice. The bread was a little mushy. It was wonderful. I mean, it was a wonderful experience. Breaking bread at the cafeteria tables with all the... it's just like this big room full of people. And it's well lit. There's pictures of all these celebrities and stuff on the wall. Jackie Mason. They had a picture of They got Clinton and Al Gore. It's kind of frozen in time. And then they got Jackie Mason. And Jackie Mason, I'm like, who's he sitting there? He's there at a table at Katz's. I'm like, who is that? It's fucking Lee Strasberg. Lee Strasberg is hanging out with Jackie Mason. Gee, I wonder what they thought about whose side they'd be on right now. I know where Jackie Mason and Lee Strasberg would stand. So anyway, I don't know. I've got to deal with this. I've got a system lord on Thursday. I've got to work, and so the show must go on. I'm dedicated to show business. I'm just rolling. I'm kind of letting the pain feed the poetry. I don't know. When I was reading on Saturday, I was just like, I have all of these fucking references. It was like every other line was a reference to how my tooth hurt. And I was like, that's not very interesting. I need to get this fixed. This is totally a preoccupation. And it's such a stupid... I mean, I brush my teeth constantly. I don't know what else I could do, because to be honest, the things that I started eating are very normal things for your average person. Like eating some pizza. I wasn't even drinking or anything. I didn't even have like an alcoholic beverage or tea or anything. Like, I drink water. I've been using mouthwash constantly. I had a fucking water bottle that I filled with mouthwash that I've been constantly to just kind of like... And I'm praying I need to get Gum Guardian. I'm just praying that things will... the thing is, it really doesn't hurt that bad. I'm perfectly fine to just kind of like live my life. I don't really... It kind of is irritating. It's definitely not normal. It definitely hurts. It feels like I probably have an infection. And so I should get it fixed before, anything happens. But I don't know. Like I said, people have been having tooth problems for thousands of centuries. And, it's a solution. You have to trust the doctors. And so when you're in the Medicaid insurance system, it's like, just being on a water rapids or something, a white water rapids. Like, you're just kind of, it's all over the place. You never know. I've had some great doctors on Medicaid, but it's never fun to go to the fucking doctor. And there's not really frills. A few years ago, I was on my domestic partner's health insurance. That's why we got domestic partnered, because God bless her, she wanted to help me get my teeth fixed. So I went and saw her dentist. I couldn't believe it. They had like an iPad. They put an iPad in my face. They were showing me videos. It was like being at a spa. They had water with fucking mint and cucumber in it. It was a lot different than the Medicaid dentist. They don't have any of that shit at the Medicaid dentist. Good. I don't need it. I need soulful people that are going to help me and make reasonable decisions. I think doctors can. How many stories have you heard about doctors where they tell somebody, oh, you'll never drink again, or you have 24 hours to live, or blah, 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 and people survive? It's like, I don't know. I don't want to be one of these people that never goes to the doctor. Like, I do kind of glamorize, like, my dad and my grandpa were both, like, the kind of people that, like, never... My dad has never been to the doctor, ever, in his life. Like, as a child, I think maybe he went to the doctor a few times. I watched him pull one of his own teeth out because it was hurting. I mean, he drinks chocolate milk and coffee with that creamer. That creamer is like some of the worst stuff you can eat. It's got MSG and all these kind of preservatives and food additives and processed ingredients. That's the kind of shit that pollutes our IBS and shit. That's why everybody has IBS and Crohn's, because we were raised on this shit. We were raised on Monsanto and chicken McNuggets and experimental foods, synthetic foods, synthetic meat. That'll be the next thing. I mean, that'll be fine, I guess, but the chemicals and the additives, that's where the shit gets fucking weird. When it's all these compounds and shit and MSG. And so, like, my dad drinks chocolate milk all the fucking time. Pepsi. He's eating donuts. I don't know how his teeth are in good shape. And a lot of old people you see, at least in the olden days, didn't have any fucking teeth. Like, what happened to them? They were just in an unbearable pain as their teeth disintegrated. Should I be an accelerationist? I was kind of comedically taking up the point like I was just going to be an accelerationist with my tooth decay. Bad idea. I like having teeth. I like my teeth. I wish that they were, I don't know why they're so bad, Like, one of the reasons why I started eating pizza more, because I'm like, well, it's calcium. Maybe one of the reasons why my teeth are bad is because I don't eat dairy products that often. Because it fucks with my autoimmune shit, right? But, all bets were off this last year. I had to pour it all into show business. I thought I was going to make it big, and then I would be able to get my teeth fixed. But I'm poorer than I've ever been. And now I have big, big problems. I got to go to the Medicaid dentist. I'm hoping they can do as little as possible. Maybe give me like a filling and some antibiotics. That's really what I'm hoping for. I can live with having a wisdom tooth sort of halfway in there. It doesn't feel that bad. I think if they just gave me antibiotics and sort of like fix this one tooth that has kind of an aching cavity a little bit. Oh, I'm so fucked. I am so fucked, it's insane. This other tooth is cracked on the other side of my mouth. Thank God that's not getting worse. So now I have one molar. On my upper teeth are fine. I know this is fascinating to people hearing about my teeth, but this is I don't know, the cost of being an outsider and a bohemian and in the extremely capitalistic, ultra competitive. You have to be in the system. You have to be on the grid. You have to be an employee. You have to be a productive member of society in some way that they deem legitimate. You got to work for Palantir or Goldman or, CUNY Grad Center. Me, I work at a bar. I'm paid. I don't even know. I wasn't even paid, you know? So I'm doing it all for love of the game and name and the fame and the legend. And I don't know. It's stupid. It's a stupid fucking problem to have. You know, I should have gotten this taken care of. I don't know. I smoke weed all the time, so it's hard for me to do anything. I don't do anything unless I like am up against the wall, basically. So yeah, this is last night's. We had a great show last night. I mean, I was super nervous going into it because of the week before, and I wasn't sure what was going to happen, and so I really just wanted to kind of. And I understand a lot of people, it it was one of the shorter shows that we've done. Typically there's two parts of the video because my camcorder has to split the file at like 3 hours and 20, 3 hours 30. Whereas last night, I think we went about 3 hours and 20. So this is only the second time we've done the open mic, since I started doing the filming the whole thing that didn't go to two parts. So we did have less performers than normal. But that was okay. I mean, I don't know. Something must be going insane astrologically because everything is kind of just, all hell is breaking loose recently. It's the return of 2016. It's that cycle returning again, I guess. The ring cycle. And 2016 was no fucking picnic. That was the last time I had tooth problems. That was the last time I went to the dentist. And it's amazing. It's a miracle that I've had no problem since, considering the way I live. But like I said, I let my standards go completely over the past year. I've been drinking a lot at the open mic and elsewhere. These vodka fucking carbonated sodas murdered my enamel. And I was able to kind of control it when I had my own place. I don't know, I was just able to kind of maintain my hygiene, maintain what I ate better. And then after I moved out of that apartment, I just live in an area where it's just like, it's very hard to find anything to eat. I mean, I've been eating at this Chinese restaurant like every other day. And that's the reason why, I've been eating this sauce, this brown sauce, which, is like, I'm sure full of all kind of shit I shouldn't be having. And cured meats and things, there's a lot, anything with preservatives and enzymes and... That's what they said. They said during the Industrial Revolution, they started adding that shit to the food. During the World Wars, during the big wars, they had to pack meats with, like, preservatives for long periods of time. That's when people's... Because it's in your mouth. These enzymes are getting into your gums, they're getting into your taste buds, your saliva glands, and they're stimulating your whatever it is, your hormones, like I said. So... I've been a bad boy, and now I'm paying the cost. I mean, look at Shane McGowan, or, some of these rock and roll people. Look at Ted Berrigan's teeth. Like, the guy barely had any teeth. I've got most of my teeth, to be honest. I'm only really missing 2 of my teeth. And they're in the back, so you don't really know. And then I've got 2 other cavities that are kind of bad. 3, I guess. But anyway, yeah, so the open mic last night... MCP, the amazing legend MCP, she's one of the most talented people. I would like to do a best of where I pick, like, the all-time greatest, performances, moments, and things, and put together, like, a highlight package. That's probably something I should have done for the year anniversary. But I'm lazy. I need interns. I need people to help me, You got to do it all yourself. And I'm just lazy. I'd rather just smoke weed and write my diary and walk around and look at stuff. And go to open mics. Film it. Always film. And keep putting out more content. Keep self-expression. Shout out Ben Callahan. I think his open mic is going on right now. 6 p.m. Tuesdays at Comedy Shop. How cool is that? Ben Callahan has an open mic every Tuesday, 6 p.m. at Comedy Shop. The legendary Comedy Shop. Which, for me, is kind of the best club in that area. And so that's super cool. We're  No, I do these so people can watch them later. That's what they're kind of for. You don't necessarily, although I love when people watch live because I'm walking the tightrope. Please like and subscribe. So I was wearing Ashley's blazer, which Jason King said was his favorite. Jason King, style icon, one of the best dressed. He might win best dressed at the open mic. We should do like a yearbook where, you know, we have best dressed. What else? Most wanted to date. Most likely to succeed. But Jason King, style icon. So he said he liked the herringbone blazer, which you'll see right here. This is it right here. We've been watching Howard constantly. We watch Tom Sizemore and Howard. Baba Booey. Hey now. And so, you know, I'm trying to... We need to launch a podcast. We need to go... I don't know, because... Oh, God. I don't know. I'm trying to keep this open. And to be honest, it was a totally pleasant show. It was kind of nice to have a more relaxed thing, go home a little earlier. I mean, I love going to 1 a.m., definitely. That's my goal, is to go to 1 a.m. But, you know, a bunch of people showed up after we were done. I kept trying to kind of, like, stretch it out, and at a certain point, we just ran out of acts. You know, I really wanted to put Jason T. Cucker on. I really wanted to get him up. I should not have waited. I should have known better. I should have known. I should have just put him up while he was in the room. I was about to put him on because I needed him to build to kind of the next person, because I had some people that were on their way. Sir Hobby Dar was on the way. And so it was like, but, you know, we have new bartenders, and they're under, you know, kind of orders to, like, they want to wrap it up as soon as they can wrap it up, you know? And so it's not like we go to 1 a.m. no matter what. You know, I don't want to waste their time. And so, you know, if there's nobody left to perform, like, the show's over. Like, I can't be like, oh, well, we're waiting for somebody. You know, it's like, what, they're going to spend $20 or something? I'd like to. I would have just gone up and done 20 minutes. You know, there was still, you know, a dozen people in the room or so, 10 people. I don't know. And then a few, you know, Jason King showed up after we were done. And a few other people showed up after we were done. And it's like, well, fuck, I could have put up 3 or 4 more people. And, you know, we could have made it to 12:30. Or I think we stopped around 12:20 or something. 12:30. If memory serves. But, you know, I knew after the previous week... we had to pay for our sins, and it was just going to kill part of the audience anyway. I mean, luckily, we still have incredible fucking people coming in. That's one of the beautiful things about being able to do it. It's just like we've played host to so many people now, and we do get people. So these 3 guys showed, they signed up a few weeks ago. Andre Cisneros, Devin Cohen, and I forget the other gentleman's name, but they were from out of town. The one guy was from Mexico City, and he read in Spanish, you know? So it was like they were real poet guys, man. They were here to throw down. They brought their books. They brought their fucking flyers, and they were real poets, you know? And so they really brought, you know, that was the one time they're going to be able to do this. There was this comedian from Toronto that was really funny. You know, this is the one time Hannah Van Duyn or something like that. Shout out to, she was great. You know, this was like the 1 week she's in New York. So it's amazing to have somebody who's so, I mean, she's like a killer comic in Toronto. She does all the big clubs there, you know, yucks. So it's like you get people that come in and they just like kill. So it's great to have, you know, really strong people that are on tour or whatever, mixed in with, you know, Luke Herberman killed it with the Tenenbaums. You know, with the themes, it's like I thought we should kind of take a break. Even though it's Mike-tober, I wanted to continue to do themes. It just felt like, I don't know how many people are going to go down for the theme, and I just wanted to do something low-key. You know, it was like the post 9/11 show. We got to give people permission to laugh. a lot of people didn't even know about it. I maybe I made a bigger deal out of it than, well, I don't know. I feel horrible. I feel horrible about the people who were attacked, and so I was really just trying to get through it as peacefully, and just have as many good people as possible and stick to kind of the formula. And luckily, we had real heavyweights come out. I mean, Savannah, she's incredible. This was an amazing poem. She had come out the week before. She's a real poet. We were talking with Spoken P. Shout out to Spoken P on the stoop afterwards. It's great to get to actually get to spend time with people and get to know them. That's very important to do this. And I do feel like I haven't had time to do that over the last 6 months, and it is like cutting your arms off or something. It's like you have all these fucking branches on the tree you need to fucking maintain. You need to visit people, you need to pay back. And also just like I want to get to know people. That's one of the joys of doing it, is getting to see people's work. That is a great way to see maybe if you're going to vibe with somebody, or if, you know, and then you strike up a conversation with them afterwards, and they're super cool, they're super intelligent. I mean, they're poetry people. Generally, poetry people are listeners, and especially people going out and doing open mics. And I got a very good response on my poem that I read last night, which kind of surprised me. I did not expect people to like go out of their way to compliment me about it. But it made me feel like, oh shit, okay, well, people are listening and people are hearing what I'm saying. And this girl was great, Samantha Law. I think she is a New York comedian. This was the first time she's ever come out. So it's like, super cool to have smart fucking. There were some really good comedians last night. I gotta say, there was some. She started out with this joke about she's never fucked a white guy or something. It was very funny. It's colonization. She won't let them colonize. So it's like there's always inspiring things, and things that surprise you. And I want it to be this monster huge thing. I want there to be 60, 70 people in the room. That's my goal. I'm trying to get back to that place. But it's also nice to just do all the shows, do all different kinds of shows, and just kind of ride the snake. You never know what it's going to be. And it is a changeling. It is like constantly evolving. It is like a snake, like segmented thing that like there's always amazing new people coming in. There's old friends. There's regulars coming in doing new things or providing just kind of like a sense of normalcy. It's great to have old people. It is like a TV series or something, having old friends come back and drop in and do guest roles. And it's a gallery, so it's very exciting to do. It's a way. It is sort of a catalog of the city's performers. And so it's frustrating to me when people sign up and maybe they've never been on the show, and I don't get them up and they leave or something. Or there's just certain people that I just want them in the collection online in the video library. Like Jason T. Cucker is somebody that like every time he comes out, I want him on stage because I want it to just be on the record. And there's a lot of people like that. Anybody that signs up, I'm trying to get you up. I would do the whole fucking anybody who comes in if it was up to me. But it's also interesting having limitations or sort of like a form you have to work within. And rolling with the punches. And, that's part of, I'm worried that my left eye has like jaundice or something. I'm worried that I'm getting like some kind of like infection in my eyes because of my teeth. Which I think, I'm sure it's just because I'm high and I just smoked, but when you get high, you get paranoid and you overthink everything. And you're thinking, "Oh my god, what if this happens? What if this happens?" And you don't even know what's real. So, I don't know. I've got to learn to be more of an adult and take care of myself better. Like I said, I mean, I do eat sugar a lot, I guess. That's probably the real problem here, but I do eat a lot of sugar. I eat a lot of gluten-free cookies. I eat a lot of gluten-free, dairy-free treats. It's my one joy in life. Please don't take it away. And lately, I've been eating a lot of gluten-y and dairy inclusive treats. I've just been breaking all the rules, so I'm paying the price, everybody. Yeah, if it's like you're a scout. You're a talent scout. It's a farm. You're farming. It's a farm team. It's a farm club, and like you've got your eye and you're seeing all these people, and so certain people kind of stick out to you. This guy Devin Cohen did a great performance last night. You'll see it. I felt an affinity with him. He kind of like really embodied his poetry with the kind of physicality that I felt. With this, in most of my readings, I try not to go too overboard. I try to keep it contained. I know that seems crazy, but what this guy was doing, where he was really like physicalizing his poetry, it's like I really related to that. Actually, that's what I would do. That's what I do with System Lord, kind of. System Lord is kind of the nth power of, the scale of the energy that I bring. And so, when you can really go full out, your ideas can just fly. That's the point of doing it, is just to get the flow. And why do I yell? I don't know why I yell. I guess I don't really trust the microphone, or maybe the monitors aren't good enough. I probably, if I was doing this the right way, I would have a person working the board. I'd probably have a door guy. I'm trying to maybe think about charging a cover charge. Or like maybe a $5 suggested donation, because, there's been a number of weeks over the past couple months that I haven't gotten paid anything. And so, if it's going to be less people and less money and less time, but, people are telling me, like, we would pay $5 for this. It's a good show. They don't care, I think I'm poor, so I'm more sensitive about that. I know certain people wouldn't show up. My goal was to get it so popular that I'd have to charge a cover charge just to cut the numbers of people wanted to come. But, I don't want to charge a cover charge, but I could make a lot more money that way. If I charged $5 per person and 60 people showed up, I'd make $300. That's a lot more than I'm making right now. And, I'm not getting a big head about this or anything, but, like, people tell me, I do put a lot of work into this, and, like, watching people, going to other open mics, working on my own art, doing the flyers, doing the posts, promos, making flyers, signing people up all week, it's if I had a job, there's no way I could do this, so I'm sacrificing kind of my personal well-being. And I'm fine with that. I mean, because it's show business and that's what I want to do. And I understand there's no way for them to pay me, or I don't know, it would just be easier to just charge a cover charge, So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But, I don't really want to do this every week for free. I mean, I love doing it. I will do it for free because I love doing it. But it's also like, It doesn't feel, it's just like there has to be a balance or something. And like, if I think some people would probably be happy to throw money into a bucket or something. Maybe that's what I'll do is I'll pass a bucket around, tip the host, and I'm sure people would kind of throw money into that. So anyway, yeah, this was the guy who kind of embodied his poetry. See, he's playing the piano. All the real poetry performance artists, the first thing they do is go to the piano. Oh God, what if I get pink eye because of my teeth? This could be the other worst pain I ever had was pink eye. Okay, toothaches and pink eye are the two worst things I've ever had. Thank God. And to be honest, like, this is just a part of having a body, right? This is why everybody hates their body, because living in a meat sack can be real painful, and going to the hospital is usually not fun. And they stick things into you, they put ports into you. What I don't, and that's why I avoid doctors. I'd rather just let my body. I trust the genetics, I trust evolution, I trust hundreds of thousands of years of not going to hospitals and doctors where the life expectancy was 20 years old. I don't know. My ensemble last night, typically I've got my wardrobe in Midwood Studios, but last night I was uptown. Sunday night I was uptown, so I had this shirt, of course, because I always wear this shirt, as people know, if you follow, my content. And then I was wearing those pants because we had the reading on Saturday at Columbia. I'm going to talk about that with the great Philip Marinovich at Dear Mama. So I had my kind of nice. Well, Saturday it was freezing and raining. So I dressed for that. So I was wearing, long underwear. I had a bunch of sweaters. I had layers. I had my winter coat. I had my umbrella. It was raining. It was cold. I had my ski cap. I have my backpack. My backpack's getting wet. I've got my camera, my cords, everything. And my calendar, my notebooks. I took old notebooks, this other notebook that got wet, because I was doing this reading. I was supposed to read for an hour, right? So I took all this stuff, all my books, it's raining, it's cold. So I dressed for that. And, there's nothing I hate more than being slightly uncomfortable. There's nothing I hate more than, like, having a slightly uncomfortable temperature. I cannot stand being, I can't stand wearing a bunch of layers. And then you get on the subway and there's no air conditioning now. They turned off the air conditioning, so the subway's, like, blowing hot air, yet you're wearing, like, a winter coat and it's warm, So it's like you're sweating because you wear too many fucking layers. I got a scarf, I got a hat, that kind of shit drives me insane. And vice versa, going out with too little. Like, I wasn't going to take too little stuff. I need to have all these layers because I can't be walking around freezing my ass off. My coat is not that thick. I need layers. I need a thicker coat. I don't know. So, we had to kind of cook with what we had, and luckily Ashley had that very stylish blazer that she let me borrow. I was styled by Ashley, so I'm gonna give credit right now. Styled by Ashley, and it was her tie as well. And the slacks that I wore on Saturday. So on Sunday and Monday, it was like kind of nice out. It wasn't as cold. It was like 60. The other thing about my toothache is I don't have a fever. It doesn't hurt so bad that I'm like, oh my God. Last time I had a toothache, it was unbearable. I couldn't even close my mouth. I couldn't sleep. Having pink eye was the other worst thing that ever happened to me. Oh my God, it was horrible. Having pink eye was fucking terrible. That's why I stopped wearing contact lenses. Because having pink eye, because you can't sleep, because your eyes, you can't close your eyes. So you're in unbearable pain and you can't sleep. So I'm just like, I had to drive myself to the fucking hospital. You know, I went through the whole night with pink eye, multiple nights, and finally I was just like, I'm going to the fucking hospital. And so, you know, I wasn't going to ask anybody in my family to drive me. I just drove myself with fucking pink eye. It was hot. Oh my God. Makes a makes a man out of you. It gives you character. You know, I was thinking about that dumbass Joe Rogan thing where he's like, well, you know, this generation's soft. It's, you know, it's not like the East Village used to be where it's like you get stabbed in the stomach and then it gets infected. It's like, you know, okay, granted, I've never been stabbed in the fucking stomach, okay? You got me there, but like, I haven't been to a dentist since like high school. And I've had pink eye a couple times among, you know, I've had multiple fucking agonizing tooth problems. You know, okay, granted, that's not that bad, but we all know what real pain feels like. You know, and living without also is a form of kind of like discipline and hardness. You know, the Great Depression generation. I don't think our generation was that different. You know, what's soft? What's soft? Because we have fucking Twitter and smartphones? Like, I've never made more than $20,000 in a fucking year. You know, I basically live like somebody fucking from the Dust Bowl. You know, I haven't been to a real dentist since I was like 24. And, god damn it. They always put syringes in you, into your soft, fatty tissue. Oh, I'm really hoping it can be... I just want them to do as little as possible. Just cap what you gotta cap. Get me back into normal shape. And, then we'll build from that. I'd love to get a job. If somebody could get me a job as like a copywriter, remote, or, you know, I'm a gig economy guy, right? So being part of the gig economy is you got no health insurance. You're a 1099. You're fucked. You're on your own. You're freelance. Which means your teeth try to kill you every 7 years. It's the wages of sin. This is what being Catholic is all about. Pain, self-flagellation. That's what, you know, the Passion of the Christ. Oh, I hate it. I am not a masochist, okay? I'm not Francis Bacon. So, yeah, the other night I found myself, I was like... I was tonguing my cavity as I was, you know, having sexy thoughts. Let's just say that. And so, I don't know. It's sexual. Is it sexual? A cavity is kind of a sexual hole. It's like a vagina in your teeth. Your anal cavity search. That's the only other time you hear the word cavity. It's when they're searching your ass. We're searching the anal cavity. Oh, wait, no, that's a cavity in your mouth, sorry. Is that your face or does your butt have teeth? Yeah, so the jacket's a little tiny, but I was going for a kind of a John Cooper Clarke thing. I've been seeing all these John Cooper Clarke videos, and he said something about how he wanted to dress like somebody from the Victorian age or something, because that was like the last great era of great poets in Britain. So I was like, okay, I'll do a John Cooper Clarke thing. I'll dress like I'm, I don't know, Ichabod Crane or something. Or, I don't know, who the fuck, Lewis Carroll? Who would wear that jacket? Oscar Wilde? I don't know who the fuck he's talking about. Paul J. Lucero killed it. He was doing some amazing music. This guy, Angel Lugo, really does amazing music. Every week, he does really amazing tracks. His lyrics are amazing. One of the things I love about his performance is a lot of times he'll just put the mic down while the track has the vocal, so he'll kind of put the mic and he'll keep rapping, just like out loud. He's really good with the camera and stuff too. Like, He's an awesome dude. You know, there's tons of amazing, soulful, just like people that just are incredible. There's so many people that come in that like I don't ever mean to overlook anybody, but it's just like there's so many people that like you know a lot of people will come once and then never come back, or maybe they don't like it. You know, they come, they don't like it, they never come back. It's still I still want those people to get on the record. You know, like I try to share entirely new people as much as I can through the Instagram posts because I do want to, you know, if a person's only kind of come one time, you know, and also I like tracking or like kind of noticing or like letting people know like the first time somebody showed up a lot of time you can see like oh this person's good and like so it's interesting to see where on the timeline different people came to the open mic, right? Like a lot of the comedians started coming in like the summer. You know, they started coming like after the 4th of July. A lot of people just moved to New York or whatever. You know, I think shout out to I think her Sarah Ramirez, I think is her name. Shout out to I think she just moved to New York. You know, Joe Briggs just moved to New York. Like so the open mic is the way to kind of like shoot into the pipeline, get to know all the other people, see what they're doing. I don't know. I'd like to do more maintenance on the different various social groups to get, you know, if I had everybody that sort of has been excommunicated socially or at least like not officially, not on purpose. I'm just joking, but like you know, there's a lot of people that probably don't show up because they have I don't know. They just see they see through it now, I guess. Or I don't know. They've sort of broken off into new things and you know, whatever. But it's like there's always amazing new people coming in and new kind of generations, new eras, new but it's like I said, it's amazing having old friends and steady regulars and you know the core people and things, but there has to be some flexibility to allow the story to kind of change and evolve and go on and it would be a good idea for a TV show, to be honest. I mean, because you could really write any, you know, it's characters, it's colorful people, it's an interesting setting, you know, and just all of the people coming at you all the time as the host. It's just like you have so many fucking people you're interacting with coming at, you know, wanting to know when they're going to go up, throwing drinks at you. Oh my God, I'm sorry. I should not have, I'm sorry. I should not have lightly referenced it. I'm sorry. That was an asshole thing for me to do. What are we supposed to do? You know, I don't know. I'm hoping that after a few weeks, things will cool down and people will come back. I don't know. You know, certain people may never come back, and that's totally reasonable. That's totally fine. That's totally understandable. You know, that's what was so devastating about it. You know, it was just like, it was, like I said, it was like throwing a Molotov cocktail into a bunch of my regulars. You know, the people that were the foundation of the open mic and who were very enthusiastic in bringing new people in and making it exciting, you know, they I don't blame them. You know, it was I know people give comedians shit, but like I thought we were getting to a really interesting place with a lot of the comedy, to be honest. I thought Claire and her friends were doing a really amazing job and I was super thrilled to have them. And so it sucks that, you know, but I get it. I totally get it, you know? Like hopefully people will come back. I heard somebody say last night, they told their friend that about what happened, and their friend was like, fuck, I gotta go to this. I gotta check this out. So, you never know. You never know how shit is going to, you know, age and kind of reappear in different guises and serve you in different ways or punish you in different ways. You never know. You never know. You know, and dealing with this many fucking people, I love it, but there's a kind of vulnerability in that, I guess. because it is like a face-to-face relationship. It's not just like I'm a celebrity and they know who I am. It's like I do have to be good to people, and I want to, you know. I don't want anybody to feel like they're, uh, uh, I'm mad at them or anything, or like they can't come out or whatever. This girl was great. Uh, she signed up with a bunch of her friends. They were really smart comedians. This was the first time they'd ever been on. I don't remember what her last name is Gandhi. I'm so sorry, but I can't remember her first name. Alyssa or Anissa or something. I'm fucking that up. I'm so sorry, but she was great. Um, yeah, they were bringing smart takes. It was like there was a lot of anti-white guy humor, which I always appreciate. Because those are the best. Those are the comedians that usually have something more thoughtful to say, and they're the comedians who the poets will generally accept. The comedians who just come out with sort of like they're not even necessarily anti-woke, but like you step on people's toes if you do kind of like Manhattan club comedy. And so I don't know. I love having everything. I love having, but these comedians were really excellent, and I was really happy that they came out. So my goal is to make people feel like they have a great time, and to give them a great time, and to make them want to come back and become regulars. I'd like everybody to sort of like feel like they're a part of the family. And they can always come home. They're always welcome. That goes for anybody, but also I have these. Yeah, is this boring? Everybody's leaving. I also want to talk about the show on Saturday. I should talk about that. So I did not end up doing an hour on Saturday. I would have. The thing is, in typical fashion, I should have left Friday night. That was my big mistake. It was a big mistake. It was a fatal error. Friday night I had Five Guys burgers and fries, and then I ate these animal cookies that I knew I shouldn't have had. And that's when things really started to take a turn for the worse with my tooth. Everything was kind of fine. I was playing with fire. I was tempting fate. I wanted to kind of push it to see, because honestly, it doesn't feel that bad. Like I said, I don't have a fever or anything. So, like, part of me is like, well, how bad can it be? Either my immune system's not working or, which is totally possible. So, anyway, this is Ashley was playing with her voodoo doll, making me suffer. Because I thought I should unpack some of my stuff. As you can see, I still have all these fucking, boxes and shit I haven't unpacked. I'm trying to get settled in a little bit here in the Holy Land. And, big mistake. So I trudged through Manhattan. It's wet. I'm buying weed. I'm buying food, whatever, snacks. And so then we got to walk up to 125th Street. It's like, it was a pretty long walk from Ashley's place. And so, of course, like I said, everything at the last minute, I'm rolling joints, whatever. We get there, I think we got there like a few minutes before 6. And then, okay, so it was a few minutes of Ashley sort of checking in, setting up the sound. I went outside to smoke a couple of joints real fast to prepare to rehearse for my reading. And I should have planned better. I definitely should have planned better, because I just thought, hell, I'll bibliomancy it. And I had been writing a lot running up to this, because my initial idea was I'll just write an entire hour of poetry and I'll just read it at this Columbia thing, and that'll be like my special. I'll just write an hour, I'll just read the whole fucking thing. And then, to be honest, I didn't even look at it. I really didn't go through it that much, and I didn't time it or anything. But I thought, this is not going to be an hour. This is going to be 20 or 30 minutes. I need to do something else too. Or like, with an entire hour, I was also sort of like, maybe I should do a couple different things to just kind of give the audience like a couple different sides and a couple different rhythms. If I just kind of rail my diary at them for an hour, it would be amazing. That's probably what I'll do on Thursday. The 1 year when Matt met Ashley show with System Lord. And there I am wearing Ashley's jacket and tie. God, do I have pink eye? Does it look like I have pink eye? I don't feel like I have pink eye. It must just be this $15 weed. So anyway, I started out reading some old chestnuts. I read from my Myself Included collection. You know, I don't know. I got the crazy idea in my mind. Maybe Philip would like this stuff better. I just wanted to show him something different. Because, you know, he's not, like, critical, but, like, he said things to the effect, like, I should write other stuff. You know, he's like, that's enough accounting of your day-to-day kind of whatever. Like, try to write, you know. And I don't agree with that. You know, that's his opinion. I appreciate it, definitely. I try to include all of the poems within. I want all of the poems to be swallowed within the diary thing. So it's like anything I write a poem about just goes into my diary now. And it's sort of like part of the flotsam in the kind of like jello walls of the diary. It just kind of gets sucked in. Whereas with this, it's like, this is back when I wrote poems, you know, that were like beginning and ending and titles, and they didn't have dates on them, and they weren't chronological. Which I'm not making fun of that. I wish I could do that. I mean, I do make an attempt to do that. I mean, that is my ultimate objective. But it does make it harder to submit to stuff. But so with this book, there's a lot more of that kind of stuff. And it was at Columbia. I don't know. I just want to kind of... This was at Columbia. This was my alma mater. I went to Columbia Business School. I've got my MBA. And so I wanted to do kind of a little bit of a career retro. I mean, when you have an entire hour, you know, I wanted to kind of shake it up. This guy was great. He's got a book, Sean something, Mulroy or something. I probably should have got a list of people's names or something before I did that. This was the first time, you know, we had a lot of debuts who really, you know, were good poets and good writers and good comedians, and it's always a great show, you know. We get very talented people, you know. We're going to do a best of Easy Paradise, the greatest moments that ever happened, you know, the highlights. I definitely got a few, I would say, you know. But maybe I focus on the negative too much. Maybe I am self-sabotaging and I want to, you know, remain in poverty. I feel like I've taken a vow of poverty. It's a Catholic thing. There's like a nobility. You're brainwashed with this. It's hard to get out of it, you know. It's scarcity mindset. The Catholic Church just does everything it can to... At least that's my excuse. Not that I was ever that Catholic, but I did go to church a lot as a kid. I do feel like that's... Where else did it come from? You know, to be... My dad has got kind of a martyr complex. No pun intended. That's just a phrase, okay? I've got a martyr complex. That's why my fucking tooth, you know? That's daddy's martyr complex. That's, you know, look at this. Look at the Christ figure on the cover of my first collection. Talk about martyr complex. I'm not talking, you know, that's a public domain phrase. No, we love martyr complex, and we hope everything's cool and everything's good. We love everybody. Hell, I love everybody. We just want everybody to be happy and healthy and get along and be respected and have human dignity. Be given human dignity. You know, if you'll notice with the filming, I do try to zoom in to get a nice kind of closer, medium kind of portrait. These are my Warhol screen tests, really. And it's an endless TV show. I mean, it's just endless. If you go on, I don't know if anybody ever watches the old ones. I encourage people to go back and revisit. You know, there is a list of every performer. So theoretically, maybe you could search through them and look for certain things. But maybe I should comment on things. But I don't know. Maybe they don't age well. I don't know. I'm wondering. To me, they're like old Tonight shows. You know, it's like I could watch Carson all day. I don't know why. They're very dated, but they're also very watchable. I don't know. I don't know. I'm very part of the purpose of my work is to see how things age. They're just time capsules. You know, I'm fascinated by the layers of the eras and when things were because things do seem like they correspond with each other. You know, I know my writing is very much about the moment politically, just like Shakespeare. You know, Shakespeare was always doing a double time, where it was like it's about the Scottish play, but whatever. James the First was Scottish, and so it appealed to the court. You know, he was a court playwright and poet, who was writing propaganda to placate the murderous elite, the power elite to flatter. But no, he was writing things that were referring to the Tempest is about sort of imperialism or colonialism or the New World, sort of. You could read it that way, even though it is just kind of also a fantasy about this group of people that get shipwrecked. You can read it as sort of a political comment, maybe, but he's also, he's able to present things from all sides. Shakespeare makes me happy. Shakespeare, big. So, it's not just like he's giving you his fucking opinion. It's like the characters are giving you this kind of prismatic, multi-dimensional view on the issue or something, right? And so it's complicated. It's not just his propaganda about his opinions or whatever. Although that might be in there too, He may have written some speeches that were his mouthpiece or whatever. I'm sure he did, or they. Shakespeare would probably be they, them, I would say. He'd have gender-neutral pronouns. They would have gender-neutral pronouns. Or trans. Shakespeare might even be trans, probably, I would say. Shakespeare would definitely be trans. The actors were all trans. They had men playing the women's parts. So anyway, yeah, I read from myself included. I should have picked... I did want to read one poem that I didn't get to read because I couldn't find it. I didn't want... Okay, so the situation, it was this really nice coffee shop, but it's in all these glass... it doesn't look like the Hungarian pastry shop. It looks like the fucking Fortress of Solitude. It looks like Secession. Everything is like glass, gray, steel, kind of fitting to these big glass... the whole fucking cafe is just like in this... to me, it's like, what if this all shatters? That's what I'm thinking, It's not actually a very smart building because... if there was an earthquake or something, this building would just fucking, like, cut us to pieces. That's what's going through my head. But it was a really cool cafe, and there was, a ton of people there for a Saturday. But they're all studying and shit. I mean, they're all on laptops. They didn't come out to hear fucking poetry reading. They all have their headphones on, They're listening to chill lo-fi study beats and shit on YouTube, Is that what kids do these days? I don't know. What's the new lo-fi study beats? What are children listening to while they study for lo-fi concentration, binaural? So anyway, maybe that's just old people. What's ASMR? What's gonna happen to ASMR people when they? I've been watching ASMR. There are ASMR. I'm not even gonna go into it. I'm sure you all guys all know. ASMR girlfriends. Virtual girlfriends are going to be, the next... apparently they're going to ruin gender relations, so things are just going to get more fractured, I imagine. So, yeah, this cafe was pretty full of people. The baristas were super nice. They knew about poetry. They knew about Dorothea Lasky. And they had a wireless... it makes sense because I work at Columbia, or I kind of am on a hiatus, an extended hiatus, an extended leave. And they have really nice wireless mics in all the classrooms and shit. All the classrooms are smart classrooms, so it makes sense this cafe is basically a part of Columbia as far as I can tell. It's not really like I don't think it's an independent business. I mean, it's in a building that Columbia built. That's like a newfangled. I was there a few years ago for this conference, the Poets Essay, which was like on a Saturday, and they had all these speakers. Fred Moten was like the keynote. So I went for this conference. That was the last time I was in that building. But apparently the school where I used to work, the business school, is in this building now. It's the Manhattanville campus. So it's not, the storied Ghostbusters campus. It's not the Dwight Eisenhower camp, the fortress. It's like this newfangled. Philip said it looked like the Death Star, and it does. It was the Death Star. We were in the tractor beam exhaust port, firing our poetry photons into the uterus of the Death Star to make it explode with pregnancy of consciousness. And I mean, Philip went to Columbia. He's an illustrious, kind of storied alumni returning home. So it was very nice of Ashley to set this up, and allow me. So, to get started, I spent, the first 20 minutes I was getting high, I guess, outside. So that ate into my time. I think I started around 6:20. And I read from this. I wanted to read my poem Vast Occurrence at the Summit, which is about my brother Jack being a sound guy at the Summit in Columbus, Ohio, but I couldn't find it. And so I don't know. I don't know if I picked the best poems. I just kind of picked the first thing I saw. Not the best. I do. Maybe this is self-sabotage. I call it I don't know. I think it's arrogant to God. Like in Bull Durham where he says strikeouts are fascist. They're boring. Besides that, they're fascist. I kind of feel that way about going on stage and just like trying to be perfect. I feel like that's kind of fascist. Trying to like dynamite the audience with like my perfect brilliance. It's like I kind of want to go up there and show a human side, I don't know, and let maybe something will jump out and something unexpected will happen, and that will be kind of thrilling, I think no matter what a person does on stage, you're getting a sense of the work that they put in, So if you've put a lot of work into this or that, the audience kind of will see that, And I just wanted to be quiet. Because all these people are like studying and shit. What am I going to do? I'm going to get up there and I'm going to start doing my act. I'm going to start jumping around. I've got a wireless mic. I could have done a lot of damage there. I could have definitely made sure that Ashley never gets another anything there. But it was Saturday. It was raining. I just thought, these people are all here writing papers and just trying to like study and like, I want to be ambient. I just wanted to kind of provide a nice tone of voice. That's one thing watching Howard is like his voice, and the people's voices he picks. George Takei. They all have really good voices. They always have kind of radio announcer voices. And like, I want to sound good. And I wanted to be just kind of like a nice sound. Even if people didn't necessarily like what I was reading. I didn't want to go maniac. Well, I went on first was the other thing, which like I was totally happy to go on first, and of course Philip is the headliner. But I'm the kind of guy that's like I could clear the room. Depending on how things go, people might get annoyed and everybody might leave. And so I didn't want to do that to Philip, I knew he is great. He's always great because he prepares. And he does what, he thought, he read a bunch of different stuff. He read new stuff. He read from his books. It was great. And so I thought, the audience is going to like this. He's not going to go berserk and, like, start jumping around. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. I just smoked 2 joints. I was trying to keep it low-key, but, like, I get self-conscious. I doubt myself, and the audience starts to feel that. So I went up, I started with this. My vague plan was like, I'll do this for sort of half the time-ish, and then I'll finish with like my diary piece, which I wrote specifically for this occasion. which, to be honest, I didn't think would last an hour. And so I read from this, I don't even know for how long. I think maybe 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. It was bibliomancy. Bibliomancy is where you just let the pages tell you what to read. Maybe my eyes are jaundiced because my body's not like filtering that. Does that look like jaundice? I mean, should my eyes be this red for... I mean, I did just smoke weed, but... Are there any doctors? Comment in the comments if you're a doctor. Help me get medical insurance and see a dentist as soon as fucking possible. Somebody, please. I need to learn how to be an adult somehow. Yeah, so anyway, I went up, I read about half this, and then so I started reading from my Happy Dino, and I didn't go through this beforehand, which I definitely should have. And I don't think I did poorly. I think, like, I did, you know, I definitely would like to do it again because now I know what I would read. I think this could really work. This could have been an hour. What I see now is I could have done this for an hour. I didn't really need to do this. But it was fun. I got to read some of my speed chess sonnets and, you know, just kind of show the eras, you know? It's like, you know, when you see fucking bands, they play the hits. So I wanted to read some old favorites and just show Philip a different side, maybe. And just, you know, provide... So anyway, I read from this, and as I was reading from this, I was just like, this is really long. I'm not going to be able to finish this. Because I wanted to finish by 7 p.m. because the place closed at 8, and I wanted Philip to get to do an hour. Like, if I would have done an hour, I would have gone till 7:20, and then what would have happened to him? You know, he maybe would have done 40 minutes, and they would have asked him to stop. I don't know. Maybe they would have just let him go. I don't know. They were pretty cool about it, really. They were real cool about it. The people who worked there were super cool. I'd like to book some shit there, to be honest. They had a killer sound setup, and like, there was an audience, you know? I wasn't, like I said, I was not trying to like capture everybody's attention. I really just wanted to be there, like I said, as an ambiance. I didn't want to interfere with anything anybody was doing. If people are listening to their headphones or whatever. But if people wanted to listen to me, they could listen to me while they're typing or sipping their cappuccino with the fucking drawing in it and shit. And so, you know, it was not... I mean, God bless Moises. God bless Moises, because Moises was the G who came out and watched. He was the one person that we knew that actually... I mean, it was raining and cold. For some reason, all my gigs were on, like, the shittiest days. And so, I'm sure that killed... I didn't expect anybody to come out. I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted to do it was because it's a part of town I'd never done a gig in before. I don't think I've ever done a gig above... Well, I've done West Side Comedy Club. Open mic, which is like, you know, 75th Street or something. I think that's the furthest north I've ever done a gig. Maybe someplace in Central Park or something. But so I wanted, you know, plus it's Ivy League, it's Columbia. They knew about poetry. Some of them, you could tell they're smart people, you know. It may have hooked their ear. And, I think I was able to kind of... The first few minutes were really Shatnery. I was into it. I was really into it. But I was doing it kind of slow, and I just thought... I thought, if I would have stayed doing that, people probably would have loved it, but I was just like, I can't sustain this. The rhythm's just too weird, and I was really, like, hamming it up, kind of, on my stool. I was sitting on a stool, and, I was really trying to... I was feeling it, This is the comedian from Toronto. She was really funny. All her jokes were about Plan B. and Molly and shit. Um, yeah, so I did 30. I think I did 36 minutes. So I was the opener. You know, Phillips the headline. It makes sense. You know, like if we were a comedian, you know, if this was the comedy bill, it would have gone down the same way. You know, I'm the opener. We're going out to the club. Phillips going to do an hour. He's the headliner. I'm the opener. I do about half an hour, 40 whatever. Maybe not that long, but you know, I thought I was able to. It wasn't, you know, I didn't get kicked out. I didn't break anything. I didn't scare everybody away. I think some people enjoyed it. God bless Moises for coming out. He was the witness. I filmed it. It's on YouTube. You can check it out. So it was a wonderful occasion. You know, we read at Columbia. It's on the record. I'm not just AV assist, okay? I'm not just a tech lackey, okay? I'm not just somebody they can shit on, okay? For $65 an hour anymore, okay? Now I'm officially, well, I don't think it was actually any official Columbia affiliation. It wasn't sponsored, you know, by the department or anything. But, you know, it was technically on their property, and, you know, it was on their land, so yeah, so Philip was great. He did an hour. It was wonderful. It was just a, you know, this is what we're here for. This is, you know, what could be more thrilling, you know? I can't believe it. I can't believe this is my life. I'm on a double bill with a totally genius poet. He's our mentor. Speaking of which, it's Philip's workshop tonight. You know, I really do want to put an ad out for this because people should be going. You know, if I look at like Brooklyn Poets, right? Brooklyn Poets was an open mic and they had workshops, you know. Philip is based, he could be teaching a workshop at Brooklyn Poets easily. And their workshops are like $400, right? For like, I think 6 sessions, maybe 10, but I think 6. You know, Philip's workshop is cheaper than that. And yet, I don't know, for some reason it's like, I don't know. I want to mention it more at the open mics. People should be going. You know, he's got a huge wealth of knowledge about poetry, and he'll make you a better poet and turn you on to things and make you a better person. He's hilarious. He's fun to be around. He's a magical person. Oh, speaking of magical people, so people should go to his workshop every Tuesday right now at Torn Page, 7 p.m., I think. Speaking of magical people, we were honored with the presence. Like I said, you know, the open mics are always amazing, even when they're, you know, seem to be no big deal. We were honored with the presence of the amazing Truffles, the poetry band, featuring my friend Omkar. Shout out to Omkar, and the legendary Sparrow. Amongst, I don't remember the other 2 musicians. So yeah, this is the Richie Tenenbaum outfit. This is Luke Herberman as Richie Tenenbaum. Look, he really had he had those glasses and everything, man. It was a good outfit. Too bad. I'm sorry. I threw him under the bus with the Wes Anderson night. I don't know. Are we going to do it next week? I think we're ready to return to themes. I just was worried that the Wes Anderson theme was like too millennial. I just thought people were not really getting it, or, you know, the thing about Gen Z is the only thing they know about Wes Anderson is all these terrible movies he's put out that look like wedding cakes. You know, fucking whatever the last one was, Hemorrhoid City, Asteroid City. No, I've been watching too much Howard Stern. I want to do a Wes Anderson theme, but nothing after Life Aquatic. It's only Life Aquatic and before. The really good the classic Wes Anderson. The original. So, the forever Wes Anderson. Yeah, so, I don't know. People can dress as, you know. Would anybody even dress as anything from the Grand Budapest Hotel? Ugh. No, dress as fucking Dignan. You know, so I don't know. Maybe we'll do Wes Anderson theme next week. I don't know. I didn't want to do a theme and have it like some other kind of insane thing happen, and just have it like, you know, it would be a really stark contrast and kind of unfunny thing to have spoiled, If we're going to do a Wes Anderson party, let's make sure that everybody's, feels safe and having a good time and ready to party. Yeah, so oh god, should I fast forward or something in this? I mean, this was a great performance. I mean, his guitar sounded fucking great. He looked great. This is what makes it, having people like Luke Herberman that are just like always there, always reliable, always going to just knock it out of the park, you know? The especially now, it's like now it's just like I want to do. So yeah, Sparrow and Truffles came out, right? I want to do the best show that I can do, right? And it is an open mic, but it's also like, man, you're performing alongside Sparrow, you're performing alongside, amazingly talented people. So, but last night, like I said, it was like I could see we were getting to the end, and like we didn't have that many people left who were signed up. So it was like, we got Sparrow here, we got Omkar here, we got the whole band here. It's like, just let them do a set. They basically, I think they played 3 or 4 songs. They probably played for 10 minutes or something, 10 or 12 minutes. Which like typically it's like we have so many people, it's just like we gotta keep it moving or whatever. But it's like, I love that too. I love that we can give Sparrow more time and like get it, have it be a part of the body of performances and stuff. And so as long as we keep getting special people coming in, and we really want to encourage everybody to come in. And so but I also feel like we can make it more magical. I don't know. There are certain things I, as a performer, know that I'm not touching on, or there's something that I haven't unlocked yet. How do we take this to the next level? Is it too late? Are we already behind? Have we already, has the bloom worn off the rose or whatever? Like the honeymoon period is over. Obviously, that was over a long time ago. That's how everything is, For me, all I know how to do is just stay committed, stay consistent, and keep doing it, and just allow the life of it to kind of carry you along, and just try to make it as exciting. I could do more with the first 10 minutes. I am kind of lazy. I guess that's no surprise about that. I don't typically, like last night, I picked a couple poems to read at the beginning. So last night at the beginning of the show, I didn't want to do, I've been doing these big musical kind of things recently because I just wanted to just like, I don't know, do big showbiz stuff. And the summer kind of unleashed that, I think. Just wanting to pump tons of energy into the room. But, what I really want to work on is how do I command the room being quiet? How do I do it without all of that? Because it is, my goal with that is just to send as much energy out in the room as possible. And so I want to hit with a big song. I got a wireless microphone. I go out in the crowd, some kind of big kind of schmaltzy showbiz thing that's sort of funny, sort of wild, break the ice, right? This was like the show after 9/11. It's like they had Giuliani come out with the firefighters. It's okay to laugh, Giuliani. We give you the go ahead. Why start now? So yeah, one thing that I've noticed in my own life is when you get high and you get nuts like I do, when you create a lot of energy, it is almost like with animals or something, where like if you get excited, they get excited and they start jumping and barking. If I get loud and I'm not saying that I'm not making a comparison, but when you unlock the Pandora's box of let's go wild, let's have 2 drinks, let's Let's unleash the energy that's in us, the emotion. Let's tap into our work. It means something, right? I'm a method actor, you know? It's like I want to feel what I wrote when I'm writing it. I want the audience to feel it. You know, my belief is I feel it, the audience feels it. Whatever I feel, the audience feels. You know, if I'm reading my poem and I feel ecstasy, I feel they feel it, you know? The physicality, like Elvis, right? Elvis's physicality, his explosive kind of physicality, is what it was. He was a genius of feeling. He could feel the music and the emotion of what it meant, and all of those recordings are shaped by that physicality. He was conducting it with his body language, like an orchestra, but also with his feeling, like method acting, right? And so having kind of an explosive physicality to me is a way to get people riled up and to kind of blow the room apart and get everybody stirred up and get the molecules bouncing around and um but you can unlock crazy shit. You know what I mean? Like generally, I mean, we've never had that much bad stuff happen really at all. You know, in a year of doing 50 plus shows, we've had maybe one other incident that was mildly like a disturbance. And I'm friends with that person now. So it really did come out of nowhere. I mean, generally speaking, the thing that people comment on is the vibe and how good the vibe is. And so, you know, is there a dark, you know, underbelly to Easy Paradise? Is it all lies? Is it like Twin Peaks? You know, it's just kind of a facade that's hiding this nightmarish uh, corruption and oh man. So, am I Rod Blagojevich? Am I the Rod Blagojevich of show business, where I'm trading Senate seats? I'm trading airtime for favors and appointments, my own gigs. It's corruption at the highest level. Am I using the open mic to meet people, to meet to take advantage of people? Do I talk about it too much on the live stream? I don't know. This was the debriefing. This is Miles Toe. He was funny. He signed up the week previous, you know, so he got to go up early. You know, I don't know. Is everybody I don't think there's too many stand-up comedians. Maybe I've just become like desensitized to it and I've spent too much time, and I like want to give the comedians a break, sort of. I'm sort of sympathetic to them. I'm eating it in Katz's Delicatessen. There's Jackie Mason. There's Jerry Lewis. You know, there's no picture of any poet in that deli, I don't think. Is there a picture of Allen Ginsberg? In Katz's Delicatessen. How much did a sandwich there used to be? That's what I want to know. Because it was $27 yesterday. Which, I mean, they give you a big fucking sandwich, and it was pretty good. The ambiance was really what I was paying. What really made it for me. The ambiance was really. There's not a whole lot of restaurants like that in New York anymore. Just these big kind of cafeteria. It seemed like a sort of an automat type space where it's just this big room. Everybody's in it together. The lighting's, you know, kind of soft and yellow and nice. You know, it was like that place in Taxi Driver, kind of, where all the cabbies hang out. It had that kind of, you know, there's all these neon signs. There's all this, like, neon signage. That stuff is beautiful. If the city was smart, it would preserve that stuff, but it doesn't. You know, like the Corner Bistro sign or the Off the Wagon sign. A lot of the McDougal sign. That's why we like McDougal, because of the neon signs. And Katz has got a bunch of great Schlitz, you know, Budweiser, whatever, neon signs. Do they serve alcohol? I don't think they serve alcohol. They just have a bunch of booze signs. Yeah, so I don't know. Was that one of my better ensembles? It was total, you know, I had less control over this outfit than any. But I try to make the between the acts uh, introductions as express as possible, as quick as possible, but I also try to put my signature on it, which is, to just serve up a little factoid about the person, wherever their next gig is, if they have a book out. So this guy was amazing. Andres Cisnegro, he was from Mexico City. He read in Spanish. This is his book. I forget what it's called, but check out his social media on the Instagram. He was amazing. Like I said, he was part of this group of poet guys that came in. And you could tell they were just like the real deal. They were the most like open mic kind of oh god, I hope I don't get pink eye. I feel like if I just start taking antibiotics, I'll feel better. I'm hoping they're not gonna have to remove like a wisdom tooth or anything. God forbid. God protect me. God protect me. So it's a crazy time out there in so many different ways. So I don't know. Yeah, the energy just breaks through. It's all part of the wheel of life. There's ups, there's hills and valleys, right? Can't always be riding that high. Sometimes you hit bottom. Usually people who do one do the other. People who ride the high eventually hit bottom. And for me, I don't know. I've got some good jobs, like I've got some video stuff, and I'm going to try to go back to Columbia, and Poetry Project hired me, right? So I do feel like a New Yorker in a weird way. I do feel like my life is centered here. That's one of the good things about networking or meeting tons of people, is that's one of the things that really ties you to your place and to a community, right? Is like, all the people I know, right, are people I met at the open mic and different open mics and through poetry, and they're all in the city, right? So this is my home, this is my center. And KGB Red Room is still just like the greatest place to be able to do a show. I mean, it's a great location. You kind of forget about that. It's just, in a certain way, it's just another bar in the East Village, right? Like, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm just like, you're in the East Village. You're thinking, oh, where should we go for a drink? Do we go to, St. Dymphna's? Or we go to fucking Niagara? Do we go to fucking, Tile Bar? Do we go to 12th Avenue, 12th Street Ale House? Do we go to Sly Fox? Do we go to International Bar? Oh, we could go to KGB. We could go to KGB and just have a drink. We could just go to KGB and there's probably a reading or something going on. One of my favorite parts of the open mic is just people who happen into the bar or downstairs who just, somebody tells them, hey, there's an open mic upstairs. The doorman, Dave, shout out to Dave, the amazing Dave. He's a great guy. When people come to the door, he probably says, oh, do you want the bar downstairs, or there's an open mic upstairs? And they might go, oh, an open mic? Oh, yeah, let's go check that out. So, usually we'll get a table of 6 people or a couple tables a night that are people that just kind of came out to have a drink. And so we are entertainers in that sense. That's why last night, it's just like I want the opportunity to keep the show going. I want opportunities on stage to stretch. One thing that I don't really get to practice doing this is long periods of holding the audience's attention, because I'm getting up and down so much, and I have to get it quickly to just keep it moving. But I'd like the opportunity. It's like, okay, we got 20 minutes or something. Let me just kind of do my thing. And like last night, that could have been something that bridged it until those other people showed up. Jason King showed up after midnight. A lot of the comedians have gotten, they like coming late, and so if you sign up late, if you come late, you don't have to wait around for 3 hours. You'll probably get to go up pretty soon after you get there. That's what I would do. I'd show up at midnight and just go up at 12:35 or something. but there's less people there, there's less audience. I guess it depends what your goal is. You know, like Sparrow was saying last night, he kind of likes performing when there's nobody there. He said, "Put us up, you know, when there's nobody there. That'll be good." And it's like that's what I like too. I don't know. When there's a lot of people there, it is a lot of pressure to like hold their attention and keep, you know, keep. I don't know. There's something about being on stage, at least where I'm at right now, where like I do doubt myself a lot, and I feel like I'm taking up too much time. I'm taking too much time. I've got to get off stage. Like on Saturday, you know, it was like I read for 36 minutes, I think. I wanted to do fucking an hour. But as I was reading, I'm like, oh God, you know, this is collapsing. I got to get out of here. You know, like with comedy, there's this, you have 5 minutes? Do you have 15 minutes? Do you have 45 minutes? Do you have an hour? You know, like there is this like pressure to the amount of time you're taking from the audience. Like you have to have, that means you have 45 minutes of like solid material that like you can talk for 45 minutes and it's just going to work. Like I can read for an hour, but it's like my experimental poetry. And, you know, it's not like road tested fucking jokes or something. So it's easy to get to it. I mean, particularly when you smoke weed, you get to a place where you're just like that was the thing Philip said to me after the reading. He said, believe in yourself. Which I do, but it feels kind of impolite to do in public. Usually when I believe in myself on stage, that's when I get banned from the venue. I believed in myself too much. I mean, believing in yourself and drugs are really a potent combination. It could be a recipe for success. It could be a recipe for disaster, or both, you know, often both. Believe in yourself, but when I smoke weed and believe in myself and get on the drums and start, you know, break the mic stand, you should have saw the early System Lords, man. The early System Lords were really nuts. After the pandemic, like, they're all on YouTube, but, like, I've toned it down a lot. This open mic, you know, I do have to kind of be professional, and I can't be the wildest person there. You know, I have to be wild to the point that, like, it makes other people comfortable in their own skin. And comfortable, you know, their energy is probably not going to be nearly as crazy as mine, so they can just kind of fly in this kind of, like, zone that, like, is a little safer and more calm. And it's, you know, that's really my goal with the opening. You know, that's one reason why I don't prepare that much, because, like, I don't know, it's not about me going up and, like, killing or something. Although I'd like to do more skits and more, like, written material. I'd like to, like, rehearse stuff. If every week we could do, like, a piece of a play or, like, a scene, you know? If I could, like, serialize a play at the open mic and, like, do a scene at the beginning of the mic every week, that's what I'd like to do. Just, like, write a scene and perform it. Oh, God, now I've got 5 people watching. Thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. I was about to sign off at 2 hours, but we'll see. I'm doing a commentary of last night's open mic. This is Teresa G. She's amazing. She's a great artist. She's got great photography on Instagram. And she really, I don't know, I relate to her as a performer, the way she reads. She's very emotive. She's like a method, you know. I guess that's like maybe a acting thing. But I don't know. Through doing this, I do feel like, Willie Nelson said this interesting thing. Howard was asking him about Billy Bob Thornton's band. And Willie Nelson is incredible. Watch the Willie Nelson Howard Stern episode. He is really an amazing person. I guess it's not a surprise, but he's like, you know, Billy Bob Thornton is like a great actor. And he can act like a great singer. And he gets a bunch of great musicians around him. And so he seems kind of like a great singer. Or, you know, he can go on tour. You know, he's like one of these actor guys with the band. That's like the worst, you know, thing in the world, like Kevin Costner's band, or like Russell Crowe's band, Jared Leto's band. Is Jared Leto the most successful actor band? Is 30 Seconds to Mars the most successful actor band ever? Probably. I would say. You know, he's not Kevin Costner's band. That's for sure. Why the fuck did I start talking about Jerry Leto's band? Acting bands. An actor in a band. Whose band was I talking about? God, I was talking about actor bands. The best. Oh, Billy Bob Thornton. Okay, so am I a host or am I just an actor playing a host? You know, is this just like a role? Am I playing the MC in Cabaret? Is this my club coming? Maybe that should be our theme one week. Our theme one week should be club coming. Where we just act like it's club coming for a week. We just go to club coming and play, find out what music they're playing. You know, am I the MC in Cabaret? I don't know. So, but I don't know. Or am I just a host, you know? I don't know. I have a lot of regrets, everybody. The thing about the open mic is like the acts are kind of partitioned into kind of these single things. So you're not typically getting like drama, scenes, interactions. These guys were great. Oh, this is Joe Levy. He's great. He's hilarious. I like this guy. He's funny. He's cool. He's got a good look. He's a good kid. Everybody's on the open mic is like 24. I think he said he was 22 or something. I was like, Jesus Christ. These people are way further than I was at 22. I mean, I was doing open mics, but in Columbus, Ohio at Buffalo Wild Wings. You know, not in downtown New York. You know, that's pretty amazing. So, yeah, everybody's kind of partitioned. And then that was what was exciting about having, like, Jack and Matt perform. Or Matt and Jack Comedy. Shout out to them because they have kind of an improv comedy background, I think. Maybe that's where a lot of sadly, that is where a lot of my training, a lot of my ideas come from, are like improv classes. I shouldn't admit that, but like that was something they said about Howard. He had Shatner on or somebody, and Howard's always talking about what a great actor he is because he was Private Parts, right? And he is great, you know. But whoever it was, Shatner was like, "You're an improv. You're an improv artist," and like that's totally true. Howard's show is live on the air. It's in the moment, and he is interacting with real people, but he'll make up skits and stuff. He'll make up material on the spot. You know, he'll make up a character. He'll make up lines. He'll have people feeding him lines. So it's like it's an improv thing. It's a stream, you know? It's a live stream. That's one of the things I like about live streaming, improvising, not preparing. You know, with my diaries, I'm trying to get as close to improvising as I can. I want that. Philip said a great thing after the read. He's our guru. Philip is our guru. He's like, you know, it's important to read new work. He comes up and he's like, the new works were the best. And I was like, oh, thanks. And he's like, no, I meant my stuff. The new stuff I read was the best. Because I had complimented this poem from his book about Columbia, which was like, you know, about his professors and shit, which is a very likable poem, you know. I think that's why he read it last. So I was like, oh, I love that poem. And he's like, the new stuff was the best. And I was like, oh, thank you. And he's like, no, I meant me. And he's like, you always want to read the new stuff because it's like wet paint, you know. The paint is still drying, and you're not really sure it's still alive, right? There's still that energy and kind of, it's not settled yet. It's still kind of moving. It's still pulsating, I think is what he said. It's still pulsing, right? And the old, like in this book, right? My older pieces, it's like the paint has kind of dried. It's kind of been there for a few years. It's kind of faded, maybe even. It's cracked, you know. Might need a little fresco restoration. And I think I always read new stuff. You know, it was unusual for me to read old stuff. I just thought, I've got all this time. Maybe let me try something different. Let me try some throwback and just throw some more coherent kind of like chord structures in and whatnot. But, you know, I love improvisation. And I I'm hopeful that the internet kind of welcomes a new spirit of improvisation. I think it kind of does with streaming and whatnot, although the only fucking thing people want to watch are video games. The only thing people, there's a huge audience for people watching people play video games. And yet no one will watch my live stream. It's fucking crazy. How can that be? Who is watching people play? You're not even seeing the person. You're seeing like their screen. You're watching like a fucking digital, it's not even real. It's idiocy. That's why only four geniuses are watching my fucking stream. My shit is so highbrow. My audience is so incredibly selective. Well, that's something. Spoken P was kind of talking to me. He's a super cool guy. He was giving me kind of some advice and giving me a little bit of a pep talk. It's one of the exciting things about doing the open mic is a lot of people give you advice and try to tell you or help you, try to, give their 2 cents on what they think you should do. And he's got a lot of, he's a smart guy. And, it's the perennial problem I have is just like, I don't know how to ask what I'm worth, right? Like, because he heard me read my stuff at the end, and he was like, yo, that's really good, man. Like, why don't you read that? Why don't you read? You need to, he didn't even know. He didn't even know that, like, I make my chat books and this and that. He's like, dude, you need to, like, rep this stuff at the open mic. You need to get paid more. You need to do that, He's like, get in a place with some food. Get in a place where they serve food because the bills are a lot more, right? And people will sit. They'll get settled in. They'll sit. They'll watch for hours and hours. Because they got food, and they'll spend a lot more money, right? Just selling drinks, it's kind of hard to make $1,000, But if you're selling food, it's like, that's pretty fucking smart, actually. That's just smart business sense, Are my eyes, do they look better? Or does it look like I have fucking conjunctivitis? God spare me. God have mercy on my soul. This is my Pinkerton year. God damn it. What did I do to deserve this? Oh, God. At least I'm not in, like, unbearable agony. Like, I feel pretty good, really. I really don't feel bad at all. It's only when I sort of close my mouth that I'm like, ugh. Doesn't feel, there's definitely something wrong, but, like, I've got inflammation. There's tons of inflammation. And inflammation is a killer. You don't want to fuck around with inflammation. In my jaw, I don't want what happened to Michael Douglas to happen to me. Michael Douglas's jaw was like his whole career. I mean, he's Kirk Douglas's son, and he just ate too much. Just look it up. Just Google it, okay? I won't get crude on the stream. But yeah, so I don't know. Should I wrap it up? I've got 4 people watching. I'm just gonna keep going. So I do have to get food, but donate. Venmo me. Yeah. So I don't know. That's my problem, right? Is I try to self-promote, like I do put ads up for my gigs. I do, like, put links to, like, the fucking YouTube. I made an announcement at the top of my show about my books, right? So, like, it's not like I don't do anything. But at the same time, there is my constant feeling in life is that I haven't reached my potential, right? I'm 38. I'm not 22. I'm not 24 going, oh, my God, what the fuck? I'm a stand-up comedian. I'm wasting my life. It's like, dude, you're 24. You're fine. I'm 38 and I'm wasting my life. And I have fucking a grenade in my mouth. So, something, who knows what the fuck is going to happen. But living on the edge, I love it. I wouldn't do it any other way. Living outside the law. The outrider, somebody's got to do it. Somebody's got to be a real human being. Not just getting a bunch of fucking medical procedures on themselves. Somebody has to die of natural causes. Like a piece of fucking tomato. Yeah, so I would like to build this out into a business. This is something that, like, it does. How do you do that, right? Like, theoretically, we have all the sound equipment, right? Kuzu Daddy's got all these sound systems. He's got wireless microphones. He's got microphones, cameras. We could have, like, an event business. I was a wedding DJ, right, in Columbus, Ohio. All they did, they got people to pay them $600 to do their wedding. They paid me $100. So they kept $500. And I rented a console from them, which had a PA, CD players, and a mixer, and speakers. And, you know, they sort of gave me tips on how to do it and taught me how to do it and shit. But, like, we could easily have that business here, right? The one thing that people keep telling me, right, is like I'm a good host or whatever, right? So it's like, okay, I could do weddings here, right? I could be the wedding. I would love to be a fucking wedding DJ. You know how fun that would be? What could be more fun than that? In the golden, I was a wedding DJ in Wedding Crashers era, okay? That was the golden era of weddings. Not that I never got laid. I never even met anybody. It's a very isolated position. People are they're kind of adversarial. You know, they sort of distrust you. They're waiting for you to kind of win them over and prove that, like, you're worth it or whatever. And so, you know, there's a lot of things that I never really connected in, like, a New York higher level. I never got a real job here. You know, the only jobs I ever had here were, like, restaurant jobs. And everything else I've done has been, like, a 1099. Columbia, and now Poetry Project, I guess, is the closest thing I've had to, like, a job here. You know, which is like where you work is where you live. You know, you have to be able to make money. And, you know, I don't want to work. I want to do what I'm doing, you know. My hope was that I'd have some kind of breakthrough and that eventually the culture, the media, or somebody would give a fuck and, like, my books would become successful, my YouTube would become successful, my live streams. You know, I thought just, like, people might cast me in things, you know, pay me to do shit. I'd love to do, like, I'd love to be, like, a reality star who, like, gets paid to do personal appearances at, like, douchebag bars across the country. You know, like, I'd love to get paid, like, 10 grand to go to, like, Sky Bar in Chicago or Nashville or wherever, Denver. And it's just like, we've got the fuckboy host of Easy Paradise, you know, live. We got scenes from a life. You know, he's gonna be partying. Come out. Like, he's gonna be DJing. DJ Matt Proctor. Playing all the fucking hits. Live. Personal appearance. At, Spice Bar. $10,000. You know, that'd be an awesome job. Like Paris Hilton did that, or the Kardashians did that. That's my goal. That's all I want. You know, at a certain point, you're just like a celebrity. You know, you're just a celebrity because you're a celebrity. You know, I do think, you know, doing this open mic for a year, is there anybody that I've seen that I'm like, wow, they should be famous? Like, is there anybody that's like a total package? Like, okay, let's say Pete Davidson came into the open mic. Because he just hosted SNL. And I like Pete Davidson, honestly. I feel like they're trying really hard to, like, make him happen. They're trying really hard to make Pete Davidson happen. They're really trying hard. A lot of good people are going out of their way to, like, really help Pete Davidson, like, have a good... And I like him, you know, but it's like, if he came in the open mic, let's say he was an unknown, would you be like, wow, that guy is going to be famous? There have been a lot of people who've come into the open mic who are hot, who have really tight material that works and kills. You know, the total package, I mean, maybe you do just have to be, like, perfectly gorgeous or, like, beyond gorgeous. I mean, the dude is 6'3", and he's a meme. You know, his fashion and all this shit. And his material and his attitude is pretty good, too. You know, if Mulaney or whatever, John Mulaney came into the open mic, would everybody like, oh my God, this guy's the greatest stand-up comedian alive? You know, I don't know. There's definitely been, there's a lot of, you start to get a more, because it is an open mic, right? So I guess anybody who's really a pro probably wouldn't come to this because they're getting paid. If you're getting paid, maybe you're on a different level, you wouldn't even come to this. But we have had verified people. We have people with incredible talent, incredible voices, you know, incredible songwriters, incredible piano players. Broadway style songwriters, beautiful people, hot dudes, hot women, really fucking smart writers, really fucking good writers. It's the 1% of the 1% that gets paid for it, right? So how do you push to the 1% of the 1%, you know? Is it talent alone? Is it vision? Is it voice? You know, to some degree, I think that just like people are looking for something fresh and something different that sort of captures. It's like David Lee Roth says, something that's patently obvious and yet nobody thought of it before, right? Like I remember the first time I saw Mitch Hedberg. Like the dude just stood out amongst the kind of like landscape of comedians. He was a little bit like Stephen Wright. You could tell he was sort of doing a Stephen Wright thing where he had all these one-liners that were sort of logic puzzles or sort of like oxymorons or whatever you want to call them. But really smart and like kind of like that was chess or something. And just hilarious. The dude and his vibe, his sunglasses, his hair, you know, he represented something. He seemed like a whiff of like the 70s or the 60s, you know, he's doing heroin. You know, I think a lot of people remember Mitch Hedberg, remember the first time they saw him. You know, some people just have that quality. They're like characters. Artie Lang is sort of like that, I guess, even though he's just too fat to fish longshoreman guy. There's something about him that's just everyman. You know, he's Ralph Cramden, but he's super talented, sharp, funny, good actor, good sketch player, can think on his feet, and his life is crazy. You know, I mean, maybe that's a factor in getting famous. You know, maybe doing tons of hard drugs. I don't know. You know, like fucking a lot of the gods, the people on the Olympus of show business did a lot of crazy drugs, you know? Maybe that helped them. I don't know. Artie was on heroin. You know, I wouldn't advocate it, but definitely weed is a part of my superpower. Maybe that's my problem as an entertainer. You know, maybe the audience can sense that my energy is coming from weed. You know, if I went on stage sober, I don't know what it would be like. You know? Would it not work? Would the magic not happen? Would the frog not sing? I don't know. But a lot of times my energy freaks people out and they get scared. Aiden Watson had a great guitar player. This guy, Adrian, I think was his name, or Anders. Maybe it was Anders. So Aiden Watson had they had a great sound. Really nice guitar. You know, that's one of the beauty parts of doing this. Is like it's like a collage in a mixtape. It's like a mixtape, right? You get comedy, but then you get amazing rock and roll. You know, amazing guitar, just kicking ass, really nice tone. The guy brought his own amp. And they just plowed, you know? They just got up, they plowed. It was amazing. You know, having that with Spoken P, with Andres Cisneros, with Savannah, with, you know, who, et cetera, et cetera. It's like, yeah, this was later in the evening. Just trying to inject some spontaneity. I think my hair is looking good, but you know, this camera is so low quality. Part of the point is to have lo-fi, you know, but also, you know, I was having a conversation with Kuzu Daddy the other day. He thinks I need to upgrade. And we went to Best Buy. We almost bought a camera, but I balked at the last minute because of the price tag. But, you know, I saw this book. It was about how lo-fi music is like our anti-capitalist weapon. And so part of me is like, well, it kind of needs to be lo-fi. You know, like I was thinking about this the other day, and this is my tooth and my this and my everything. My aesthetics are my economics, right? And so having a lo-fi, having a low carbon footprint where I only have 4 gigs a week I'm uploading to YouTube rather than, oh, let's film it in 4K. We'll upload a 100 gigabyte file every week to YouTube, you know? That's, you know, I mean, maybe it would be a transformative thing. This kind of makes it look like it happened. I don't know, like it's not real or something. The quality is not quite HD and photorealistic like a camera phone now or any camcorder you'd buy. This was a little bit before that the DSLR and the kind of like the HD thing really kicked in and became ubiquitous. But I also like that it's an assault on the kind of perfect aesthetics and kind of glamorous, glitzy aesthetic of just everything now. Everything is super cyber and digital and perfect, and it has a fingerprint. It has an individuality. That's the thing. Is like, you know, for me as an artist, it's more important that you have an original content, an original look. You know, like if I maybe I don't know. Maybe that's a dumb. Maybe it doesn't pertain to this. Maybe I should just get whatever the most recent thing is. What would people think? You know, would it be like something that really turns people on and would be like, yes, this is way better. Like I've got a HD video every week that looks like movie quality of the whole open mic. Maybe that would be a huge step forward. Maybe that's my problem is I've never invested. You know, that was something the Savannah said last night. It's like if you only invest half, you only get half, right? You get what you put into it. And so as you can see and as you know, I don't put a lot extra into anything, I guess. I do things as quickly as possible, and I call that aesthetic. Fast, cheap, and good. You can't have all three, right? That's what I heard when I moved to New York. Fast, cheap, and good. You can't have all three. You can have fast and cheap. You can have cheap and good. You can have fast and good. But you can't have all three. It's going to be expensive if you want fast and cheap. Fast and good. And so I'm fast and cheap. That's my brand. That's my wheelhouse. So you get what you pay for, and you get in what you give to it, I guess. We're learning that the hard way. I'm 38 years old. I'm a loser. My teeth are killing me. I have no health insurance. I'm trying to justify my $10. My mom bought me this camera at a library book sale, like it was 2016, for like $10. And it's been a miracle. To me, that's part of it. It's like I don't have to worry about breaking it or anything. It's like it only costs $10. It feels like an enchanted device. To me, maybe I'm old-fashioned. Maybe I'm like a witch doctor. But I believe in like charm and like when things come to you. That's, like going out to Best Buy and buying something. It's like there has to be a story. There has to be I guess maybe letting go and paying the price is the story, but this camera came to me, so it feels kind of mystical. It feels kind of meant to be. I want everything in my life is meant to be. Whatever happens, I'm trying to follow intuition. This is how all these religious people, this is how witch hunts happened and all the religious, no, I follow, superstition basically. No, I follow divining. You're constantly divining. Where is things are speaking to you? Where is the magic? Where is the tool that I need that's going to unlock? My life hasn't changed yet. There's no reason to think why anything would ever be any different, It'll probably just go on like this, I'm not making any big changes. I don't know how people, we're surrounded by all these post-Tiger Woods, like, superhuman alpha people that, like, are ruled by competition, and, I'm not one of those people, I'm human. I'm human sized. I just want to do my work, and, I was thinking about investment. Every one of these assholes is like an investor. I'm an investor. That's your job. And they sort of force us, right? We're all investors in a way. That's how they see things. That's how they train us. Is the way everybody thinks is like, I want to give my money to businesses I want to support, right? That is investment, right? That's no different than being an investor, except investors have way fucking more money to play with. So rather than, I'm going to support a business. I'm going to buy this band's T-shirt. An investor can just be like, I'm going to give, $1 billion in startup capital, whatever, market capitalization to Uber, right? So we're meant to see our whole fucking world through these childish, competitive economic terms. And show business, I guess, is no different, where it's just like everybody's looking for these superhuman unicorns, I guess. Joe Pera is 6'8". It's like what? Fucking Bo Burnham is me perfectly realized. Bo Burnham is 6'5", okay? He is what people are looking for in show business. He's 6'5", and he's like, his work is like musical theater rap about, I don't know, whatever, contemporary issues or whatever. And it's immediate gratification. And it shows you, wow, this guy's super smart. He made all these rhymes, and he's a white rapper. That's what people like. People like Glee Club white rappers. And I can't get anybody to come to a System Lord gig. System Lord is the real shit. System Lord is like the future of music. That's what people don't understand, is we are fucking rap music. We'll bomb you motherfuckers. Y'all motherfuckers can't be us or see us. Don't want you motherfuckers got sickle cell. No, we are heavy metal, okay? We are the hardest, most dope shit hitting the streets right now. People don't see it that way. Fine. They want to watch fucking ASMR girlfriends and Twitch streams of people playing. What is the game? I don't even know. Fucking some Blizzard game. Or Microsoft, I just saw, acquired Activision for like $60 billion. It's a video game company. $60 billion. And yet my poetry press, no one will acquire my poetry press for anything. For any amount of money. My YouTube page. I'll sell my YouTube empire. I'm ready to sell my library of content to the highest bidder. The Scenes from a Life catalog. Who wants to buy it? Warner Brothers? Ted Turner? Who wants it? Who wants all my backlog of all the open mics, all the Scenes from a Life episodes, all those live streams? I'm ready to sell my catalog for like 300 mil. Make me an offer. Come on, Sony Music Group. Some kind of big multinational conglomerate. Buy my catalog. All these memories could be yours. Yeah, so I don't know. We're all trying to get famous. We're all trying to get ahead. We all copy each other. It feels like if you don't copy what other people are doing, you don't get noticed. Like if I was on Twitch playing video games, maybe people would watch. I don't know. I think I'm entertaining and edifying. And, God, it's a struggle. I don't want this to happen to you, okay? That's why I'm being this weird kind of Mr. Cotter to all these poor wayward souls, as Ashley said, for her intro for next week. It's a little too, I think Ashley's watching. She may watch. It's a little too flattering to me. Maybe that's me just self-sabotaging, but I don't want people to think it's like being some big self-congratulatory thing about me. Because, I don't know. I'd like it if people loved my shit. I'm shocked that people don't. I'm continually shocked. When I come off stage, I think, I just blew this fucking place apart. I just absolutely killed this room. And people don't generally agree with that. It's like punching the wind or something. There's Junie. Look at Junie, man. Real as fuck. Shout out to Junie in the jacket. Looking good, bro. It's always great to have you. I love the new stuff. The new shit, as they say. All right. Is there anything else we need to talk about? Pray for me. I'm hoping to get this taken care of as painlessly as possible. I have to work tomorrow. I've got the System Lord on Thursday. Ashley and I are showing our films at Young Ethel's. They have a projector and they have YouTube. They have a Roku projector. I wish I would have figured that out like in June, before all of the Easy Paradise Summer Concert Series, which alienated me from all of my fucking audience. But I could have been projecting videos at all the shows. That would have rescued the whole thing because it would have given more light in the room. I could have filmed it with my lo-fi aesthetic that's anti-capitalist and anti-imperialist. You know, I'm just trying to smuggle as much intelligentsia and cognition and enlightenment and mind expansion and humanity as possible. We're just trying to turn everybody on, get everybody active, get everybody creative, putting out work, pouring it out, expressing, letting it out, catharsis, right? This is therapy for me, right? I don't have therapy. I don't have Medicaid therapy. They wanted to drug me. I said, no, I'll see a psychiatrist. I'll see a psychologist. I'll see a psychologist. Am I schizophrenic? I don't know. I would see a psychologist. Therapy sounds kind of fun. I mean, I would do it. If they'll help me, I don't know. Do I need a life coach? Would a life coach put me on the right track? You know, I followed the Timothy Ferriss thing. That's why I don't work. That's why all my processes are automated to India. All the Easy Paradise DMs are like that's a call center in India. Anybody who's ever DM'd that's AI. I got AI. That's a program doing all that. I've never interacted with anybody recently. I just automated all that shit. Yeah, it's Mike Tober. Come out. I mean, I'm excited for the Thursday thing because I'm going to be showing my vlog and I'll probably read if I don't have pink eye. Even if I do have a pink eye, I mean, the show must go on. I've done shows with toothaches before, okay? You're paying the cost to be the boss, okay? That's just how it fucking works. Sometimes you play hurt. Sometimes you play with a broken thumb, even though it's a Super Bowl. It's negative 20 degrees outside, okay? That's how legends are made. You think the fucking Dallas Cowboys were running? Oh my god, my tooth kind of, it's like a 2 on a, I gotta call out today. No. I grew up in a toxic, culture where like any kind of self-care, any kind of, taking care of yourself, you're always supposed to go to work. You never miss a day work in your life. I go to work when I'm sick. Nothing's going to stop me. That's the mentality I grew up with, Toxic male endurance. Emotionless and grinning and bearing it. As men, we're supposed to just be able to put up with fucking anything. And is that sexy? Is that what gives you male energy and male presence and testosterone hormone? Is just facing the hard stuff, drinking the hard stuff, smoking, drinking, having tough conversations, confronting people, chewing people out on the phone, eating people for breakfast, yelling at people, taking care of fucking business. Does that make you a hard ass? Does that make you, enduring pain, living with pain, quiet suffering, not complaining, not going to the doctor? I ain't seeing no doctor. I know what they're going to do to me, sort of, I'm praying that it's as, it's as painless as they can make it. Part of me just like, just give me dentures. Just give me false teeth. But I want to keep my real teeth. You got to hold on to your teeth. That's what people always say. Take care of your teeth. I don't know. Like I said, in France and England, or other countries, look how bad their teeth are. In America, is it just a facade, or are people actually getting the health care they need? Why do people in America have such nice teeth? It's the fluoride or something, right? It's like the calcium and the fluoride, I think. It certainly isn't the diet. Everybody's drinking tons of fucking pop and eating tons of junk food. They can do it. If you have health insurance, and if you're I guess this is part of like the homesteader mentality that I'm talking about. People killed over centuries by childbirth, disease, starvation, hardship. That's nothing new. That's human life. They endured, right? That's what Faulkner, the last line of that Faulkner book. They endured. Whatever doesn't kill you just makes you stronger, but it might hurt like hell. And it probably will, but I don't know. Does it make you stronger? It might make you weaker. I can definitely, seeing things make me weaker if they don't kill me. Just kill me. No, please don't. I mean, yeah, this is BK Native again. Amazing. I think I'm going to fast forward maybe to the end just to kind of wrap up the commentary track and then wrap up the kind of the live stream. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't liked yet or subscribed, definitely like and subscribe. This is the best of the wrap-up show. We're debriefing. We're doing a full debrief of last night's show. Is there anything else? So we are 2 hours and 20 minutes. The whole show is 3 hours and 20 minutes. You know what? I'll skip ahead. Okay. A little bit, and maybe we will talk for a little while longer. I don't know. Why the hell not? I do have to get food and rolling papers. I gotta get my papers, but God, is this boring? Is this just like, I feel like I'm just giving, maybe I'm saying the same thing over and over again on every live stream. It's just some kind of generic, like, we need to promote creativity. Get people being creative. Like, what is the next step, right? This is the thing everybody's asking me, or is it too late? The party's already kind of over, maybe, for me. As far as, like, this is the launch pad of excitement or something for people. Like, the next step is, like, a real podcast, As much as I would love for people to tune into this, me just jabbering for 3 hours, it doesn't seem to be catching on. I've been doing it since 2020. The podcast boom, I guess, is about to go bust. That's what they're saying. But I don't know. If I was serious, I would get some kind of real video podcast together and have people from the open mic on as guests, interview them. I need to get into interviews. Like, that's why I'm watching Howard Stern so much, because it's like, what can I do to, it basically is a podcast, but it's so much more exciting than a podcast. There's this kind of kinetic dramatization that's happening throughout the show with all the lives of the people who work there, who are on the show. JD went to the dentist, Baba Booey, whoever, Sal. Their lives, their drama, he brings it in, they talk about it, they dissect it, they gossip about it, they analyze it to death, they get everything out of it they can. But they make these people, they are characters, right? It's just it's like you're a reporter. You are doing a sketch of them, You are trying to translate or do an article or get people to understand them, I think it would be exciting for people at the open mic to see interviews with people, with other artists, And we just have such an amazing cast of characters. We have a Howard Stern-like menagerie, with Kuzu Daddy or Ed or, any of the fucking people, Ashley. It's like there's a whole gallery, there's a whole galaxy of amazing people, and so to go deeper into their inner world. And, I'd like to do interviews. I love interviews as a genre. And it's really a conversation. It's My Dinner with Andre. I was always trying to make work that was more conversational. The open mic is a monologue kind of thing. It's a solo act kind of thing. But it would be nice to do staged conversations on stage, talks, where they do Q&As or whatever with the artists. I've done that a couple times. It was super fun. I like that stuff. Oh, why is this not charging? God damn it. I'd like to get into more of that stuff as a host. If people want to hire me to host things, I would love to do like staged interviews, staged, like they do at the 92nd Street Y or whatever. Maybe we can make, can we make Jefferson Market Library the R 92nd Street Y? Can we make it like the downtown 92nd Street Y? I'd love to do like a New Yorker festival type. Wireless microphones, we're on stage and we're doing a live interview with, Kuzu Daddy. Or I don't know. For that, maybe we get. But I don't know. I kind of missed out on the whole podcast boom because once again, I'm too lazy. I like a more direct attack. I don't know how you do all the technical shit. One thing about Howard is he is obsessed with the technical stuff, and he does make sure he's very methodical about that. And that's probably part of his success. Anytime there's some kind of weird noise in the headphones, he's always like, "What is that? What is that? Your phone is messed up. What? There's something wrong with the mic. Get Sal the engineer. What's going on? We can't hear the band. The band's, one time when they were doing the staff karaoke contest, he stopped it because it wasn't good enough sound quality. It's like me. It's like I probably could do all that stuff, but it's poetry, right? It's poverty. It's the way things as they are. It's wabi sabi. It's not sweetened. It's not edited. It's not. I said something to Philip about I should have edited more, and he's like, editing is don't editing. I forget what he said, but it was like it was anti-editing. Which I try to edit things on the fly. The idea is to be fast, cheap, and good. That is the goal. Part of the hallmark of the New York school and the beat thing, I think this is one of the things they got from the beat thing. Maybe this is more of a second generation New York school thing. But the idea is not only do you write it fast, but you write it right. You write it right the first time. You don't have to go back and edit it. That's New York. You're on speed. If you're in New York, the idea is you're here. I don't know if this still holds up. Probably not. But the idea is this is the toughest place. It's the smartest people. It's the fastest people. It's the most pressure. It's the most talent. It's the tallest. It's the best looking. It's all of it. And so, that keeps you sharp. I think. I don't know. It tests you. It pushes you. I feel like having been in New York 13 years, and especially since doing this open mic, I do feel more like I'm growing into. New York is a place of like exceptional. Like, look at Howard Stern. He's 6'5". He lives in a super tall. All of the fucking New York school, Berrigan, fucking Ron Padgett, they're all super fucking tall. Like, these people are like genetic rarities, I guess, maybe. Or there's something, because it's this, the top of the top, right? That there is a higher standard. There is better listeners, right? The Poetry Project supposedly has the best listeners in the country of poetry. I'd like to believe that at Easy Paradise at KGB, I mean, it's KGB bar, right? It's attracting smart literary people just to begin with because it's a known quantity in that area. It is the kind of non-academic institution of literature downtown New York City. And so I would like to believe that our audience is super fucking sharp and great listeners. I'd like to believe that it's a unique, but that's partially the point of getting comedians in there, right? Is listening to stand-up comedy, your ear kind of gets atrophied. Listening to poetry over and over again, you get used to it. So having this kind of new thing, it freshens it up a little bit. It shows you something else, and then you go back to your thing. And it's like, okay, that kind of contrasts and kind of pops it out, And I do feel like I'm like growing into that, having been able to hang in here since 2010 and get to this level where like, okay, I'm at least in the conversation at the Poetry Project. That is like, for the kind of writing that I'm into, there is no better place on planet Earth. Those are the top of the top, right? And it's all gathered in one place. And so the fact that I'm even there at all, I'm at KGB Bar, the fact that people are enthusiastic about this and I get a lot of positive response, not always positive, but a lot of people do think our open mic is one of the best, they've ever been to. And so, that does make me feel like, okay, why not have confidence in yourself, right? Why do you have to think other people are going to do this better than me, or I'm not, trusting your own ideas? I mean, to go back to the thing I was saying earlier about, I think you do have to do something different. And I think a lot of people and performers are afraid to stand out. So they start imitating each other. They start kind of just like blending in with their peer group, which is the other comedians or whatever, poets, musicians, I don't know. To me, I do have a little bit of a fear of like being too good. I know that sounds insane, but like it feels kind of uncomfortable when people look at you like you're like better, or not better, but like, when you like, when you're Eric Clapton or whatever, some fucking famous musician, the way that people are just like, "Oh my god, this guy's a fucking god," or like, the way that people compliment you, it feels kind of, I don't know, I don't like that. It makes me feel kind of uncomfortable. It makes me feel uncomfortable anytime I'm doing something like, okay, if I'm playing a board game with somebody, it makes me kind of uncomfortable if I just beat their ass. I want to have a little bit, I don't want to win too badly. That feels kind of like mean or something. And so let me just check my battery real fast. And so with performing, I mean, not that I'm in any danger of this, but like, there's a lot of interesting things I could have done at open mics or even comedy sets I was booked on. But I was, maybe this is just me, I was trying to do something that I didn't think was going to clash too much with what other people, like I wasn't going to go in there. Like I had this one idea where I was like, what if I totally pre-recorded my set beforehand and just lip synced to it, right? Usually when I'm planning to do something at a show, I don't use those kind of ideas. I try to do something that's a little more, I'm just trying to learn how to do stand-up comedy, right? So I'm trying to do like material. I'm trying to write jokes, which stand-up comedians love so much, writing jokes. They're always writing new fucking jokes. I hate jokes. Jokes sounds like tomato. It sounds like a tomato's splashing all over something. There is Truffles, the amazing Truffles. Legendary. I mean, Sparrow's one of the greatest poets in the world. And the fact that he comes to our open mic and says, hey, put me on when nobody's there, that's what Christ would do. That's what Buddha would do. I think he's a Buddhist, maybe. I think he, not to, put out any false information or anything. Okay, is there anything else I need to talk about? Thank you all for watching. This has been great for me. I've really gotten a lot out, and I feel therapeutic. Like I don't look that bad, right? Like I don't look like I'm like in any kind of medical emergency. And so, like I said, I come from the fucking, we're given such conflicting medical advice in this country. At least I was growing up, because I come from a family where it's like, well, you don't really want to go to the doctor unless you absolutely have to. You better be sick as a dog before you go to the fucking doctor. Well, for one thing, because we didn't have insurance, or I didn't, after a certain age, like I said, my dad never goes to a fucking doctor in his life. And so there was some, like, you don't need to go to, you're faking it. You're making it up. It's psychological, whatever, that kind of thing. But then on the internet, it's always, you need to see a doctor as soon as possible before things get any worse, And that definitely is what I should have done. I should have gone to the dentist before this really became like a big problem. and it's not, as far as I can tell, going to be a huge problem yet, although I don't, who the fuck knows. Um, I'd like to believe if it was going to be in a huge problem, I'd be in like a lot of pain, which I don't want to be. That's one reason why I've just been kind of continuing, because I thought it might go away. I thought if I just kept using enough mouthwash and brushing my teeth after every single fucking thing I do, that maybe it would go away. But it does just seem to be getting worse. It's a slippery slope. It's like you can't, once things start to go bad, like your body, it's just downward from there. You're not gonna recover. Once you have an infection, what the fuck did they even do hundreds of years ago? If you had a fucking sinus infection or a toothache, what the fuck would they do? Your life would just be misery until you pulled it out or something? What, you pulled it out with a string? In old movies, you're always seeing them like, they've got a big like thing tied around their head for some fucking reason. You know how they, in old movies, if their tooth hurts, they've got a toothache, they've got like this fucking rabbit ear thing tied around their chin, and then they like pull their tooth out with like a fucking string on like a door handle. It's like, has that ever worked for anybody? Maybe if your tooth was like a child's tooth that was like loose and about to come out, but there's no way I'm pulling any of these teeth out with a fucking string. Although I'd like to have one of those headgear things. That's kind of nice. I guess the point of that was like not open your mouth or something. See, Sparrow is like a be unprepared guy. It's so important to have him at the open mic, and it's so special because it's like having Thule Kupferberg or the Fugs. It's like having the spirit of that. Their band, Truffles, is a lot like that. The way they perform, their approach. This is what the East Village, when I got here, there was more things like this. There was this kind of ramshackle, European, I don't know, Jewish, klezmer, like, but improvised, soulful, folk music almost like Harry Smith, right? This is like a Harry Smith band, you know? This is great. And they, you know, the effect they have on audiences. I mean, their songs are really fucking funny and smart. They're very, not surprisingly, I guess, they, you know, they're very well written. And so they really work with the audience, even though they're silly and their band is kind of this like thing where it's meant to kind of like sound like people playing, you know? It's not meant to sound like Boston or something, you know? It's not the Cars album. It's not ELO. You know, it's a bunch of, you know, coffee house musicians and the naked human voice and poetry. And there is a fragility to it and a kind of like unsteady kind of soft shoot, but you know, but you always feel like you're in good hands. You're never like, oh, where's this going? You do feel like this is going to be great no matter what, you know, like they're always great. But it's part of the you know, it's like a Taylor Mead thing, right? This was the vibe when I moved to New York, you know, people wearing you know, clothes with holes in them, and everybody looked homeless. You know, the first time I went to the Poetry Project, it looked like a fucking homeless shelter. You know, everybody's wearing these big coats, dark coats, scarves. Everybody looks like a heroin addict. That's the East Village, you know, that's the old New York. And so when Sparrow and Truffles come in, it's like, boom, we're there. Or John King is like that. Who are some of the acts like that? You know, but I understand it's a new millennium, and it's a new New York. You know, we're in the Taylor Swift New York. We're in Palantir, New York, and Israel, New York. And Citibank, New York. City Park, City Bike. Bloomberg. Police State, post-Bloomberg. It's a city that's probably in decline, I would say, actually. Kind of weirdly. Even though they're still kind of ultra-rich, I do kind of feel like maybe New York's maybe gonna go into a decline again. You know, it's been kind of in this like private ascent, you know, privatized, private money, private capital, rich people moving in, Giuliani cleaning everything up. And Bloomberg was kind of an extension of that. Giuliani came in, you know, bullied everybody out, beat everybody, you know, ganged everybody the fuck out. And then Bloomberg came in like this billionaire guy. And then it became like this luxury city, right? Luxury brand. And, you know, from whatever, 2008, 7 to the pandemic, it really was safe. They were building all these fucking parks. Whole Foods going in everywhere. Like it became this whole other thing. It became this safe kind of rich people megalopolis. And then the pandemic, and now we're seeing tax revenues not coming back because of the offices are empty. A lot of the businesses moved, right? Financial people moved to Florida. They moved their business other places. Now there's, you know, there's crime is going up. It feels like and it feels like it's tied to the mayors in a way. De Blasio, it felt like it kind of just rode out the Bloomberg thing. There was so much money and so much like functionality. You know, everything was like environmentally friendly, but also super capitalist. Private jet environmentalists. And de Blasio, it felt it kind of was a municipal mayor that just was kind of riding on the coasts of that. And then, but it seems like Eric Adams, like, is trying to just sort of be like a police state mayor and not even hide it, but just like overtly serve the rich people. But he doesn't have, you know, he's not one of them. He's not like Bloomberg. You know, Bloomberg was a billionaire. He was a business tycoon who just like, you know, that's why that vibe came into the city. Just this kind of swanky, the whole thing just felt like some kind of VIP elite lounge or something. Felt like a Chase Freedom card. But now it feels like, I don't know, it feels like Eric Adams is like a cop who's like kind of a joke. I don't know. It seems like it's kind of, I don't know. These cities are kind of failing or something. I don't know. We'll see. But, you know, the death of the old New York and people coming back and not even recognizing it. You know, most of the texture of the open mic is like youth and kind of, you know, a hopeful, aspirational, optimistic, nouveau, you know, people are not coming here. You know, when I do John Lennon night, it's like, that feels like I'm doing Jurassic Park or something. You know, suddenly it feels like really old. You know, I'm sort of a link between, and that's sort of what I feel like my job is. I'm like a link between the older generation, people in their 60s, 70s, or whatever, 80s, who come to the open mic or wherever, you know, poetry world, whatever. And then, like, these people are all younger than me in, like, their early 20s or something, you know? Like, I'm kind of, like, I can sort of give them advice or, I don't know, guide, I don't know. But also show them how it was before. And I, you know, something like a John Lennon night or the old New York kind of vibe, I don't know if that's still, it's not cool to people anymore, right? It's just, you know, they don't remember that stuff. That's like Frank Sinatra or something to them. That was 20 years before they were born or whatever. It's like, who knows what their ears sound like? You know, who knows how these things appear to them? You know, the sound of things has changed. Everything's become so digital, right? I was reading this Bob quote. He said the last golden age of people making music together was like the 50s, 60s, and maybe the 70s. All the records from the 50s. People in a studio playing music together in one take. And the chemistry of that, the give and take, the back and forth, and making it work the first time, right? Writing it right the first time. Nailing a take, right? Not fixing it in post, not manipulating it, not airbrushing it, not digitally sweetening it. Now it's like everything is so enhanced. And people don't you know, they don't have like this hippie, like, oh, that's anti, you know, it's like that's all gone. You know, people embrace all this stuff. They embrace plastic surgery. They were born in it, you know, and it's not necessarily anti-human or anything, but it's like it's just changing. It's a big change, right? And so I don't know, trying to stay relevant, trying to keep up with the times, trying to make exciting things exciting for the kids, but also learning from young people, right? Like we're in a weird place where it's like the culture, the technology is young, so like we're constantly looking to young people to show us, to teach us what's cool, or to teach us how to use it. What is cool? What's relevant? Why do we care so much? Is this a media culture thing? Is this like a human thing? We just need the newest thing. You know, when something new and important and like something that defines the era comes in, that's what people are looking for, like in entertainment. You know, they're looking for a voice, they're looking for a person that kind of embodies the times and explains it in a way. You know, somebody like Post Malone, right, is very new. He's got tattoos on his face. He can play Nirvana songs, right? Like he's got kind of a Kurt Cobain voice, but he's like a, you know, he's you know, he's post Eminem, right? And so it's just like there's something about that guy that when he comes in, it's like you can kind of grab onto it and be like, that's new. I haven't seen that before. That's the culture now. That is that is 2020. You know, that's the 2020s. Taylor Swift is all over the fucking New York Times. It kind of defines the era, you know. It's feminist, it's super tall. It's sort of like corporate country, but co-opting that to become pop. It's shrewd about how it uses the system. It's, you know, it's woke-ish. Um, you know, it's middle American, but it's also like girl bossing in the biggest stages, traveling the world. I don't know. And the songs, right? The songs give us equipment for living. You know, pop music and art in general. It is all kind of a time capsule and sort of a striation in the archaeology. You know, part of what we do is in anthropology. You know, we are cultural anthropologists, meaning these are just field recordings. These are the artists of New York City circa 2022, 23. This is sort of, you know, a cultural anthropology of this moment in time and this community, these people, what human beings were doing, you know, what was in the air, what things sounded like, how people were, you know, the way that like somebody like Ed Sheeran, right? I don't know that much about Ed Sheeran. I've never really seen him play that much, but like the way he fucking plays acoustic guitar, his rhythms and shit are contemporary. You know, like they're post Jason Mraz. He's playing percussion on the guitar and shit. He's going wild. He's singing like he's fucking got all this melisma, like he's in sync and shit. And he's a ginger. He looks like a fucking hobbit. You know, those movies were big. You know, so that all plays into it. You know, it's like he's Gollum, but oh my God, look at him. He's this amazing voice and blah blah blah. I'm in love. That's you know, these things are, they're tied to our lives, you know, our youth. We associate these different time periods. It's, I think it's a way of referentiality. You know, it's how we situate ourselves in space and time. You as an artist, it does feel like there is some responsibility to get whatever the newest technology is and putting your content or figuring out some way to make self-expression and to make art with it, you know. It's your job to get, because people need that. They don't want to hear a song that sounds like it was recorded in 1965. They want to hear something they've never heard before. They want to hear something that And in order to get that, you have to have the newest technology. You have to have something that nobody else has, right? You have to have, the newest camera. You have to have fucking whatever it is. It's going to give you something that people are going to go, oh, okay, what is this? The newest lighting, right? Like the last few years, it's been all about bisexual lighting, kind of. And KGB stage, the lights are like that. I don't know if when they bought those lights, they're LED lights, but they're like purple, blue. That's kind of a new style. That's when we look back on this era, that's probably one of the things. We'll be like, oh yeah, everything was this kind of bisexual lighting, purple and blue and pink and neon and so as entertainers, right, it's our job. I mean, even Bob Dylan's fucking last book, he was talking about Facebook and all this new shit, and it's like, this is why I live stream. This is why I do vlogs. This is why I do, System Lord. To me, System Lord is on the front of the technology and the approach to how we're doing it, to the best of our ability. We're not necessarily making hit records. But, we're trying to just create a space for a new type of thing, It's experimental or exploratory. Oh my God, it's 25 more minutes. What time is it? 8:08, okay. With my poetry, like, I try to make it sound as contemporary, as much like my modern life as possible. I want it to sound like the world that we live in, but also being conscientious about traditions and the canon and whatnot. The things that have stood the test of time and the lineage, the common storehouse of the songbook, right? These are the things that everybody kind of draws on to kind of like as inspiration or to learn. God, maybe I will just kill it now. Everybody stopped watching, so there's really no reason to keep going. God, is there anything else I need to talk about? Did I miss anything? I mean, wish me luck. God, pray for me. Please watch, like, subscribe. We're trying to make this open mic and everything. I don't know. Maybe I should just do some new thing. Maybe I should just totally reinvent myself. Just keep doing shows, filming it, putting online. I don't know. I don't know how to beg for more attention, get more people watching. I guess just work harder, put better stuff out. Like I said, do people does putting out a lo-fi version of the open mic prevent it from people watching it? Will people not watch this? I don't know. Does anybody watch these videos like as if they were actual content? Does anybody put on the open mic video and just watch it as if they were there? Like, I imagine people click it and then go to the part where they perform and maybe like their friends or something. Or, they just kind of skim through it maybe to just kind of see what happened. To be honest, I don't even watch that many because I was watching them, when I was living in the living room here, I was watching them on the TV out there because I do think it's good. It's like watching film and football. I think one of the fastest way you can learn as an entertainer is to watch yourself and to just be like, oh, I shouldn't do that. I should do this, That's part of the reason why I film it, to just give everybody the opportunity. I know when I go out and do a show, I feel nervous about setting my camera up and pressing record. And there's been a few that I fucked up and I didn't record because I fucked the button up or whatever. And so, I think it's nice. People can just go up, perform. They have no pressure to like, okay, I gotta roll and then I'm gonna run up and or their friend is gonna film. It's like you just focus on your thing. And there's also when you hit that record button, there becomes this awareness and this self-consciousness like, oh God, okay, now we're rolling. Everything has to be perfect. Oh, I fucked it up. Turn it off, start over. And it's like I don't want people to even be conscious of any of that. It's just like it's being recorded. You might not even know it's being recorded. Oh, you got a recording me. Awesome. So I don't want them to be nervous about like, oh fuck, they're recording it. I better do perfect. They can go back later and it's there, if they think they did a great job and they want the video, it's there, I think that's one of the things that's beautiful about live performance. The honesty of it is like, no matter how good you are, like there's good shows and there's bad shows. There's shows where you get heckled or the audience doesn't like you or whatever. It just doesn't hit. There are no guarantees, and so that's normal, for there to be hits and misses and ups and downs and but also just like the practice of getting better, getting less afraid, getting less nervous, trying new things. I know that I'm doing this open mic has been huge for me, just getting more comfortable on stage and now being in front of 40 people or something is not quite, especially doing original material, right? I think doing original material is a little scarier because people are kind of judging you based on your ideas, and it's not fun if nobody likes them, right? Yeah, he came in late, thank God we were still going. He sounded great. His guitar was super cool. He was capoed up. I know some people are anti-capo, but I love capos. I'm gonna get some snacks. If you have any snacks, everybody do a shot. I've got some sea salted veggie chips here. See, this is the shit I was eating when things were going fine for me. It's when I went off the script, when I went off the menu. All right, let me fast forward ahead. We're gonna wrap this up. There's my man Spoken P. He went last. He's an awesome guy. Just getting to know all the characters, getting to interact with people. I wish there was more opportunity for that during the open mic. I wish, I try to like ask people questions and shit, but I don't take that much time to banter with people, to do crowd work. Maybe I should get really into crowd work. Doing pickup is basically like doing crowd work. And I feel like I haven't begun to perform miracles on stage. I mean, the goal is to perform miracles. And you do have to leap, into new things and take risks. I don't know how to, because, at the same time, it's like, you do a lot of shows, you do a lot of open mics, and so you also gotta just, like, keep it, okay, so I'm reading my 1 year poem. You gotta keep it consistent, you gotta just keep moving steadily forward. My pamphlet 1 year, so one of the fun things I do, I don't know if people really notice this, but it's one of the threads of the open mic. At the end, I've got this book 1 year where, and I'd like to do this at every reading. Something I might want to do at every reading is like, there's one line for every day of the year, right? I want to do a calendar of it. The 1 year calendar where every day you pull it off. And there's just one line of poetry for every day. And that's the poem, right? It's called 1 year. So it's 365 lines. And you know, the idea is at the open mic every Monday I read that day's line, right? So theoretically, you know, if you watch the open mics, I could just edit that part of all of them, you know, and it would be like kind of a version of the poem taken from, you know, every week where I read that one line. I don't know if people really knew about that. I'm sure people have, you know, they've obviously seen me read that at a number of the open mics, but it's such a quick moment. It's just one line. So I can get up at the end and it's like reading a little poem, you know. I think stuff like that, like doing book of the day, having recurring segments is part of the fun. You know, that's part of like what gives it a structure, what gives it form. So yeah, I was getting really into it obviously at the end. At the end of the night is typically where I go a little more crazy. Because everybody's gone. I'm the last thing. I can put on music and just like, you know, I always try to read stuff that's pertinent to the events of the week. You know, the beginning and the end, these are like, this is like my monologue, right? Instead of doing jokes, I read a poem. But the poem kind of covers material. There we go. I don't remember going that crazy. That a monologue would cover. You know, it's just it does it through like the kind of jello-y stream of the poem. How do you feel about that plaid on herringbone? I've got the flannel on herringbone. Is that a fashion no-no? Flannel on herringbone on polyester. Look at that. Look at that's the mime skills. That's the movement classes I took in theater school. Paying off. So I did study with this woman, Janine Thompson. I was in a mime class in college. It was one of the few theater classes I took that was actually amazing. Mime. And this woman, Janine Thompson, had studied with Marcel Marceau, who was, you know, probably the most famous mime ever. And really an amazing artist. Really a genius, profound artist. You know, Marcel Marceau is like, I don't know, fucking Elvis or something. I don't know. Or Charlie Chaplin or. And so she was one of like 3 people in the world that was like given the blessing of Marcel Marceau to like teach his mime, whatever the fuck it was. Lecoq or something, I don't remember. There's different like, you know, techniques of mime, right? Once you become a real guru, you then you like put your name on a technique. That's what I've got to do. The Proctor technique. There's the there's the Alexander technique and like the Stanislavski method, right? Ed was talking about the Stanislavski method. How about the Proctor method? There it is, right there. Smoke a bunch of weed, uh, and just use the kinesphere. Just like blow out the kinesphere. Oh my god, my bald spot. Is my bald spot looking... I need a toupee. I think I was playing the Step by Step theme song because Suzanne Summers died. Rest in peace, Suzanne Summers. Who was a poet. She has a book of poetry called Touch Me, which was our book of the day the other day. And the Step by Step theme song is not as good as the Family Matters theme song. I thought it was the Family Matters theme song. I kept thinking this part was going to come up, and it didn't. So yeah, that's the whole fucking show. There it was. We did a whole debrief. I mean, I skipped a little bit of it, but not that much. Junie stayed the whole time. God bless him. The heart of the open mic. one of the fun things, you know, like one of the best parts about Howard is, and I suspect it's influenced by Larry Sanders, is when they film the celebrities coming into the office, and then when they film the kind of like prep thing that they do, where they're giving him anything they film like backstage. You know how like Larry, they have the show, and then they have the backstage that's like the actual show that you watch. With this, we have the open mic, but we also have when people are standing near the camera on the console, a lot of times they'll be talking to me about personal shit. Like these girls liked my poetry. They came up at the end, they said they wanted to perform. I went up to them 10 minutes before this and I said, "Do you guys want to perform?" Because I was just trying to get anybody up to string it out. It was only 12, 15 or something. So I was like, "Do you guys want to perform?" And they're like, "No, we're fine." And so I went up and I did my ending thing, my grand finale thing. And then they come up to me and they're like, "Can we sign up?" It's like, it's over. If I start back up, the bartenders are going to be pissed. So I wish I could have gotten them up, unfortunately. But yeah, so the show behind the show is like, you overhear shit when we're having conferences near the camera. That's one reason why I try to do direct audio, because I didn't want to pick up. The problem is it goes over some people's acts. If somebody's doing their set or something and somebody comes up to me and starts talking to me, it's like a lot of times it interferes with the audio of what they're doing. So I don't know. Anyway, that's it. Watch Scenes from a Life for the context. Not that the context matters, but I'm interested to see how this stuff ages. It'll be interesting to look back on these videos 10 years from now and just see maybe some people have gotten famous, see how, and on the one hand, there's like a sameness to all of them because it's the same fucking shot, it's the same camera, it's the same room. And so it really does feel like one long fucking thing that just is one show that never changes up at all. But I don't know. Like I said, I try to do different things every week to kind of differentiate it and timestamp it. Themes, playing different music, playing music that's pertinent to whatever the situation is. Like I said, Suzanne Summers died. I was talking to Lee Moore, shout out to Lee Moore, about Step by Step TGIF. So I thought, okay, that'd be a good way to end. But I like to go back and forth between, I like to do Larry Sanders theme typically because that is like a trademark. I don't know how many people recognize that, but I like to believe that like when you come to the open mic and you hear Hank's voice, it like is a Pavlovian kind of response of joy, where you're like, oh yeah, it says applesauce. Get ready to have a good time. Okay, I don't know what that is, but so yeah, I don't know. With anything you do every week, every day, and just life, it's like there's just shit you don't want to deal with. There's crises. There's, loss. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to do better. We try to do the best we can. It's not, I have other things in my life, right, that like, it's, maybe it's not, maybe I should make it like more of a full-time thing, but, get better cameras in there, get better audio, This was the 1 year anniversary show. You can tell because we've got the balloon. Claire Lichtenstein gave me that Oh, it's right here actually. There's the birthday balloon. Still flying. The Easy Paradise birthday balloon is still flying. Maybe that's a good note to end on. Thank you for watching. Thank you to Natalie for giving me the idea. Thank you, Ashley, for the wardrobe. Thank you, everybody who came out last night. It was a great show. It was a chill show. It was an uneventful show. We had MCP, amazing. We had real poetry. We had some cool new comedians. We had fucking Sparrow, for crying out loud. We're making magic. We're trying to perform miracles on stage. So, I don't know how you do that. We're still working on it. We'll try to do better the next time. There's Joe Briggs. Alright. Well, anyway, thank you for watching. See? I mean, I don't know. Does that look that different than the other week? Who knows? Who knows if if it will hold up? It's a mystery of creation. Nobody knows what's going to hold up. Nobody knows what's going to last, but the Easy Paradise birthday balloon is still flying, and it will fly for a long, long time. Thank you all for watching. Have a great Tuesday night.